think I almost burped at the beginning, but I didn't. How do you like that? How much of a change? Oh, how we've grown. I set myself up this morning with some fucking tea, some fucking water, a big fat jug. I take a bunch of happy pills. Listen to some music. Slime Forest at the top. Go subscribe. I had to do all this to get myself here today, okay? There was a lot of... I had to self-motivate to get in here live this morning. So welcome. Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. Thanks for getting out of bed or not, or, you know, coming in here and listening to this shit. You know, I appreciate it. I hope everyone's doing well, as I always do. Let me pop out this chat. Let me post the links. And we can get into all the updates. Clout Route Morning Show 21 is a retread of everything we've done before. Imagine that. Updates to everything. All the major drama lately. Creator Clash. Oli London. H3 Idubbbz. They're all here. Dude, this music's fucking shaking my entire room. That's Slime Forest for you, baby. Alright, we're tweeted out. We're here. Guten Morgen. Nice to see ya. Let's chat. Let's dance. Like we were. No, that's enough dancing this morning. So yeah, I feel like I just did this. Tuesday we did the Clout Route shout out. The shout out. I think I'm just gonna say the shout out. Remove the Clout Route. It's assumed. You know what I mean? It's the shout out. We talked about Illuminati and her naughtiness. Amongst other things. All kinds of things. Me and Kevin from home. It looked different, didn't it? That's some StreamYard shit. I like the nice setup. It's a little change from what we usually do. So I love that we can differentiate and each one of the shows looks a little different. You know, I love that. So I'm glad you're here for it. Today, you know, took yesterday off to think all day about what the fuck do I want to do on the show tomorrow. And it was like nothing really pulled at me. Nothing sounded that good. Nothing sounded that fun. I was kind of not motivated. I was bummed a little bit. Like, what news do I want to talk about today? And I waited and I waited and I waited and I thought. Couldn't figure out what in the fuck that I wanted to talk about. And it was getting late. Later in the day. What the fuck am I going to do? And sometimes I'm like so ahead of the game, so ahead of the curve. You know, I've already got a plan on, you know, Saturday, the week before, what I'm going to do, Sunday. I like to plan ahead, but, you know, it just didn't work this week. There was nothing I really wanted to talk about. And then all of a sudden, yesterday I get, Oli London's going to be on H3? No shit. No way. Oli London, the guy that I've been talking shit about, that we just had a morning show about like 3 weeks ago. Grifting piece of shit. Transphobe. Used to be a current transphobe. Prior transracial Korean man and transgender woman. Okay, so all kinds of things. But yeah, who would have thought Oli London would be on H3? And he's been having these like shows lately where he's been inviting numbskulls on a show and dunking on them hard, you know, when they want to talk about the manosphere or, yeah, the Nexium guy he had on. That was embarrassing. And now it's this, Oli. Oli was his next shot. He thought, okay, this guy's a super transphobe, weirdo, hypocrite because he's, you know, you've heard it all from me before. I do not need to explain. If you want to know Oli London shit, go back and watch some of the old shows, especially the morning show where I talk shit super hard about him. Well, I was amazed when I saw that shit. I was like, no shot, dude. Why can't I get an interview like Oli London? I don't have clout enough yet. You know, I can talk about this guy 3 weeks before anybody clouded up gets to him. You know, I talked to him, you know, like I said, like 3 weeks ago, and now he's on this fucking show getting slammed. Not really, though. It's interesting. Anybody that hasn't caught it, you should go watch the H3 interview with Oli London. It was yesterday. It was most of the show. They talked to him, and then afterwards they kind of debriefed. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, they stole my fucking ideas, dude. I swear one of those motherfuckers, one of those H3 motherfuckers are spying on me, okay? It's like I'm barely ahead of the curve, you know? It's like 3 weeks. I talked about Oli London 3 weeks ago. So I'm barely ahead of the curve, but somebody's sniffing my videos out and my live streams out and my morning shows out. Somebody's drinking coffee watching this shit, and they're like, ooh, Oli London would be a good guest. So go check that out. But interestingly enough, of course, afterwards, after his clouded up appearance, like, I'll give you my quick synopsis or my quick review of the entire thing. I don't think that Ethan slammed him hard enough. Now, that might be controversial. Bruh. You know, whatever. Me, the H3 fan, wearing the Teddy Fresh hat right now, but I just don't. I mean, granted, they rebutted everything he said. You know, every point that he kind of brought up about why he thought what, they had facts or studies or a rebuttal to it immediately. You know, they didn't let the guy have any wins. That's for sure. So I applaud them for that. H3 did well. The whole crew and them, they all did well, you know, fact checking and coming, you know, back with answers the whole time. But they just couldn't walk him into a corner and like really get him, I feel like. There was an attempt with this. He has a lunchbox that he sells on his website that's like a trans woman pretty much on the lunchbox being sold to kids. And now he's preaching, don't groom and don't put these ideas on kids. But you're selling a lunchbox that, you know, you get it. That was one of the points that they tried to get him with, but I just don't think it was like a nail in the coffin. And then he goes away. And I don't know if it works very well for Oli. Like, I don't know if the commentary, the Keemstar lovers or whatever come out and say like, okay, fuck Ethan still with this. You know, I hate Ethan, so I'm going to agree with this Oli London guy. I don't think that's how it works in this situation. I don't think anybody's agreeing with this fucking idiot. But here, let's look at it. A big wall of text here, you see. Okay, I'll read it to you dramatically. Tonight, I did an interview on Far Left H3 Podcast because I believe in the importance of educating people about what is going on in regards to the gender-affirming care industry, even if they are pro-gender-affirming care. Now, we've looked at some of the shit this motherfucker said. You know, like I said, we just did the episode, so remember, like, all the nut job fucking transphobic shit he says and does, and then think about that while we're reading this. Out of all the interviews I've ever done, this was the rudest and most unprofessional person I have ever spoke to. I mean, God, like I said, I need an applause for that, dude. That's so good.
Bruh. Titties.
I still haven't got the applause soundbite, so we'll get it sometime, but I love that. The rudest, most unprofessional person I have ever spoken to, Ethan Klein. So a lot of people probably enjoyed that little tidbit, but I don't know about the rest of it. The whole time I was interrupted while the host tried to twist words into my mouth, saying, because I am against children being medically transitioned, that I support child suicide, which was funny. That was one of the other moments where they tried to nail him. Basically, they were saying, like, look, if there are certain kids, a small subsect of kids, that if they don't get gender-affirming care, that's what they resort to, or that's what it ends up resorting to, is like the S word, you know what I mean? Child S word, not, one of the S words. Read it. But, so that was his argument, was like, yeah, if they don't get this, then they're going to result in child S word. We don't want that. And they couldn't nail Oli into saying, like, look, or, to agree one way or the other. He kind of danced and noodled and squirmed out of, I mean, obviously, who's going to say, so I support child S word in Minecraft? Nobody's going to say that. So they couldn't really nail that to him. They're making that connection. He wouldn't agree with it, but they did end the interview by calling him a demon. It was like the last thing they said before they hung up on him. It's like, okay, demon or something, Ethan says to him. And absolutely below the belt interviewer who desperately tried to twist my words for clickbait and views. Now, they're always, everything they do is for clickbait and views. So okay, you got them there, Oli, but I would say the same thing about you, buddy. You went on their show. Oli, you went on their show for clickbait and views, for clout. You're going to clip this fucking whole interview, the whole thing, out and put it on your YouTube. Same thing I said when we looked at you weeks ago. You motherfucker. Your whole YouTube page is just a fucking you. It's just you, every appearance that you make on any show. You have compilation videos of every time a creator or a news station or somebody mentioned your name on your fucking YouTube page, dude. Don't clickbait and don't claim anybody's doing anything for clickbait and views, bro. That is you too, just as much as anybody else. And you know what? The demon thing, I don't know. You got a lot to fucking answer for. And I thought that the whole time I was watching their interaction on the podcast and this interview is like, you can't, this is how slimy and shitty this guy is. First off, he was pretty in the know-how. I was surprised how many facts he brought to the table, how much he knew. He seemed well versed in all of the issues of like this trans, medically transitioned children and blah, 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 and his views on that and yada, yada, gender affirming care. He knew what he was talking about. Now, 7 months ago, he was like a transgender woman. So he wrote a book about all that, and he's a man now, again, 7-month period, 8-month period, maybe now. So, like, you can't take anything he says seriously anyways. The guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's such a talking head for all these fucks, like I said before. And this podcast, like I said, didn't nail him, but pretty funny stuff. I did enjoy, like, after doing an episode on him, that they were like bringing him on, and I was really hoping for one moment where they were like, got him, but it didn't really happen. anyways, like I said, you can watch the interview in full and like the weirdness and again, like I said, how prepared the guy was in defending his transphobic views and yada yada. He'd go on and say he's not, but he's like big on gays for groomers and shit. And what was the other one? Project Veritas was one of the people he was talking about citing information from. It's like, oh my God, dude. He was actually more insane for saying shit like that, like Project Veritas, than I thought he was prior. You know, the gender madness on his fucking book and everything, that's wild. And I always thought he was a fucking nut job, you know, all the fucking right-wing shit that he spews on his Twitter. I always thought he was a nut job, but then he says Project Veritas. Like, what the fuck, dude? Next you're going to be saying some like QAnon shit or something, or who knows? Fuck you, Oli London. So here we go. Here's another part of this conversation here. He says, after the extremely rude and unprofessional interview, excuse me, I had earlier with podcaster H3 Podcast, where they tried to twist my words. They blah, 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 blah. Host says, my hope in this was that we could at least damage his reputation. Producer says, Dan, it just depends on how it's selectively edited. Haha. So unprofessional. So this in context, I mean, is this the clip that they're talking about it?
My hope in this was that we can at least damage his reputation.
Maybe.
You got
it just depends on how it's selectively edited, you know?
Right.
Well, and if you watch the show and that edit's weird, and if you had the context or whatever about what they were talking about, Dan's really saying like, Ethan's saying he hopes that he damaged his reputation. And normally that'd be a bad thing, but I'll revisit that. But he says, I hope I damaged his reputation, but I don't think he really thought that he did. That's the whole thing that I was saying. Like, I don't think they slam dunked really at all, but he hopes that this ruins his reputation. And then Dan says it depends on how it's selectively edited, because there are a lot of points in the show where Oli could take it out, edit context out of context, or, you know, just his chunks of what he says. And he could edit it in a positive way for him, because he was really on point with his, you know, like I said, he had all the facts. He was really on point with his side of the whole argument. It just happens to be his side is wrong. You know, you can have tons of his thoughts and feelings, but they weren't really necessarily right. But at different points, they could edit it and Oli could look good. Also, vice versa. There's different points where they could edit it and, you know, H3 looks like they fucking really dunked on it, which was most of it. I feel like they definitely won if there was a winning or losing side. People can disagree on views, he says, Oli, but to do this and interrupt me constantly throughout the entire interview, despite the fact I remained incredibly polite while trying to twist my words and then admitting to doing it on purpose to try to damage my reputation. I don't know why he puts damage and reputation and selectively editing all in. I mean, I guess he said all that, but okay. It's weird. It just looks weird. Is really below the belt. So look. If it was, golly, I'm trying to think of somebody that I'll throw a bone to, because it's not like Steven Crowder or anything. Let's say Joe Rogan. That's a good one. I don't like Joe Rogan, okay? But do I think he's like an absolute criminal? No, he's just an idiot. I just don't like most of the shit he says. So, if he had, what was my point there? I guess I don't know what my point was, but I'm just saying that, yeah, fucking Oli is a bad guy. Transphobic views, saying all this nasty shit to harm people. Okay, so of course, yeah, they're trying to damage his reputation. what I guess I was going with was like if they had somebody like Joe Rogan on who he doesn't necessarily agree with, but, you know, if he comes on the show, they're going to go back and forth, yada, yada. He's not necessarily trying to damage Joe's reputation. They might disagree and go at it. He wouldn't be necessarily seeking that for Joe because Joe isn't really a bad guy, you know? He has some shit takes that I don't agree with, but he's not really a bad guy. Oli, on the other hand, and you guys have heard it from me, from my mouth, is a fucking nut job, grifting, piece of shit transphobe, okay? And that's what he fights for. He constantly does. He has like 12 posts from today that are all transphobic fucking bullshit, right-winger, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so yeah, he's trying to damage your reputation because you're just a clout-seeking, money fucking grubbing, grifting piece of shit that happens to be very harmful to people like the trans community that are going through a lot of shit already without your fucking help. By the way, you were just part of the community. Like, that's the very hypocritical and shitty part that bugs me the most. Is like, you were just in that community. Like, you should have a little more empathy for it, and you don't. And that's why I think Oli is a despicable human being. Let's look at chat. Hash and Poland are talking so much about some interesting shit, I guess, here. Oh, God. Hash says, I don't like interviews where people push back too much. Sometimes you got to let people talk more and make themselves look bad. So Oli did go on and on about how he keeps getting interrupted and yada yada. And Ethan kind of talked about it after their interview. Right-winger talking heads like Oli are very good. I mean, Ben Shapiro is one of those people. Get as much out. Talk as much to obfuscate like what they're saying for real. And you can't really grab the wrong parts because there's so much of their bullshit. So Ethan really let him get his point, you know, or wanted to get to the point. So when he started going on these ba-ba-ba-ba-bas, Ethan was like, hey, but this, asking a question, you know. So he considers that interrupting. Yeah, okay. That might be interrupting. I mean, I would agree. And I don't think Ethan would typically do that to somebody, you know. But Oli pegged it already. He knows. Ethan's intention with this interview he didn't have good intentions. And I said that Oli was prepared and smart, you know, whatever. But he should have known, like, or at least, I don't know. He's trying to frame it in his own way to make Ethan look bad and make him look good. But he should have known that Ethan was going to fucking dunk on him. Like, what? This was all in bad faith. Ethan brought him on, just like he did the Nexium guy, just like he did the Manosphere guy, whatever, to talk shit about obvious, dumb, fucking takes that they have. He only, like, at least these interview type things that he's been doing lately with these people, he only is bringing on people, Nexium guy, the Manosphere guy, and this guy, to slam dunk. Like Oli, he thought he was going to dunk hard, easy wins. And they are, you know, and he did do pretty well, but it's not like he lost any of the arguments. It's just like there were no moments that you could actually like clip out and nail him hard with, I don't think. Hash and Poland, I'm glad you guys are excited today. Lots of conversation about, I'm histrionic, that's for sure. Histrionic personality disorder here. What race should we convince Danny to transition to? Hash says. Okay. Filipino. Poland says. Ooh, Filipino would be fun. You can speak Tagalog instead of Tagalog. You know what? I'm lost on the conversation you guys are having. Danny, I feel deep down you're a Filipino and you know it. Don't let the Republicans tell you that you can't be yourself. Go get that spray tan and dye your hair black. I believe in you. Good morning, Mama Creepy. So nice to see everybody in chat. Don't let the Republicans tell me I can't be myself. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's my whole, hey, I'm already there, Poland. I'm already there with you. That's what I'm saying all the time. They're not going to tell me. Maybe I do. Maybe I, no, I won't, but. But, you know, if people need it and want to and feel that way, then they should be able to without fucking weirdo old fucks. A lot of times when we're talking about these Republicans, too, if you want to say, I mean, Poland said it, the Republicans tell me I can't be myself. A lot of these motherfuckers are ancient. I mean, I know a lot of the Democrats are, too. We need to get them all out. They're all too old. These motherfuckers are so homophobic, set in their ways. It's never going to change. That's fine. Okay? We can be nice to them until they're gone. Until they're gone. The natural way, you know? But they don't need to be controlling everything that's going on in the government anymore. No. Old. It needs to be a fucking... What's the age limit? I mean, fuck. I don't even know. I'm trying to really think that through in my head. Like, what's the age limit? I mean, shit. If you're... No one over 70. Easy. That's an easy bar. If you're 70 or older, see ya. See ya. I don't need to hear from it anymore. Because at best, you got 30 years left on this earth, and it's your last 30 years. You better just ride it out, motherfucker. That's probably not a good take. I'm just kidding, but no. Yeah. 70 and over, Biden... Trump, all these motherfuckers, they all too old. All of them. I mean, especially Biden. He's old as fuck. This motherfucker way too old to be doing shit. I mean, half of our Supreme Court too old to be doing shit. And then those motherfuckers get appointed for life. That's a whole nother fucking thing. Let's not even go there, okay? Too old. 60. 60 might be too old. 60 and older? I say maybe if you're like in office, you can creep into your 60s. Maybe you can get reelected when you're in your 60s. We can make some kind of, adjustments there, but I think 60's too old. You too old. You're too old. You're definitely over the hump, okay? You're on the other side. You're in this downhill. I'm just kidding. I'm being very ageist this morning.
Doinks.
I shouldn't do that to people like Glenn Beck. Is that who that is?
Doinks.
I can't even remember anymore, idiot. Mama Creepy says, do I see a Christmas tree? Yeah, it was a Christmas tree. It now has eggs and a bunny on it. I don't know what's next for it. We need to put like flowers on it or something. But I said this a couple weeks ago, well, a week or so ago, but there's going to be a move soon and a set change soon. I don't think... I probably won't bring the Christmas tree back out. We'll put the Christmas tree up for Christmas instead of just having it up all the time in here. But, yeah, I was going to decorate it for the seasons, but it's kind of, I don't know what to do next. Flowers or something? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I decorate it ever again. It might be just gone. I think Danny is too old to be a YouTuber. I mean, all these people are older than me. Okay? Shit. I'm 31, dude. Almost everyone, I think everyone I've talked about today is older than me. They're all older than me. What do you mean I'm old? Okay? I'm not old. I'm not old. In fact, you know who's old? Like fucking... Everyone else, everyone I ever talk about on this show is old, dude. Older than me.
Tucker? Don't
Maybe
make
not
me
Nick
Iraq,
Fuentes,
okay?
but Tucker is. I mean, fucking Alex
Turn
Jones.
the friggin' frogs gay.
Old as shit. They're older. Roseanne.
The bitch was white!
Old.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Old.
If you need a penis, take a penis. If you have a penis, give a penis.
Old. They're all older than me. Sam Hyde, who we're about to talk about. Idubbbz, they're all older than me. Old. Don't get me old. I'm too old to be. What's the age limit on YouTube or fucking what's his nuts that does the morning show like I do. Fucking reverter commentary dude. That dude's old as shit. That dude's old, okay? And he can do it. It's cool that he does it. But, you know, age limit on YouTuber is a little different than age limit on fucking people that control the laws and the fucking what's what in the country. Who gives a fuck how old you are if you're a YouTuber? All right. Oh, goodness. Sometimes, chat, you get me into trouble with all these tangents about somebody's going to clip out me being ageist as fuck. This might as well be that. I might as well title it that already. The ageist episode. The episode Danny gets canceled for hating on old people. I mean, whatever. They're going to be dead soon anyways. Get mad.
Fuck you, Dan.
I need one of those. There you go. So, without further ado, I feel like I said that a lot now. This fucking Idubbbz response dropped yesterday. It happened while I was watching the Oli London car crash podcast. Idubbbz had snuck in a video. Maybe it was before that. I don't know, but I didn't see it. Idubbbz had snuck in a video addressing the Froggy Fresh drama. We're going to watch most of it. We're going to go through it like we usually do when it comes to these videos. Sometimes these motherfuckers don't know when to shut up, and they run out of useful things to say. Probably me too. So I try not to linger too long. If we feel like we want to get the fuck out of this Idubbbz response, we will. But, you know, I'm not a hater. I don't hate Idubbbz. In fact, I guess I always liked him. Always been fond of Idubbbz. He's been I always have liked his videos, liked his content. Recent content's a little different. I mean, aside from his documentaries that he does, like Airsoft Fatty and that Ice Cream Man one with the fucking old YouTuber and yada yada, you know. I like all of those. He kind of has some small videos in between there that are nothing burgers that it's like, okay, it's not the same content that he used to make, and that's fine because everybody changes, you know. You think I'm going to be doing the Clout Route morning show forever? Do you think I'm going to be reverter 60 something and doing the Clout Route morning show? Maybe. Never say never. Maybe we have more than 200 subscribers by then, I hope. But you know, Idubbbz I've never hated, so let's give him a shot. Let's give him a chance. Let's see what he has to say. So far, all we've heard in this argument, you know, were they wrong for removing Froggy Fresh, blah, 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 all this drama. The only thing we've really heard are the couple tweets from the Creator Clash, official ones, that are really nothing burgers, don't really say much. And then Harley running D for them. And who knows if Harley even, who knows if Harley even knew what he was talking about. He was kind of defending them, you know, going to bat for them. But I think, you know, we didn't hear it from them directly. So we could only take, you know, Harley at his word. They would really be able to defend the point a lot better. Idubbbz, Anissa, whatever, if they came out and straight up and said it. Well, here we go. We're about to watch Idubbbz's exact response here. I'm too old. I'm old too. More wisdom. Yeah, I like that. I'm 30, baby. I'm full of I'm like at the prime age, baby. I've got 10 years of dumb, useless, young adult knowledge. Wisdom. I'm in my 30s, getting my life normal, straight. We're becoming a fucking upstanding citizen, as they would say, except for my YouTube endeavors. There's a lot of wisdom here. I have a lot of wisdom to impart on you. Let's see. Most of those people aren't YouTubers, Danny. Grow up. I mean, we're talking about Idubbbz and Sam and Ethan and all of them. They're old and YouTubers. I mean, what is Jordan Peterson, a professor? But he's on YouTube all the time. Might as well be a YouTuber. Fucking Roseanne is a YouTuber. I actually have watched some of her live streams, okay? Roseanne's YouTuber. They're all YouTubers. Don't tell me. I don't identify as 16. I don't believe in trans age. Okay, so let's get out of this fucking chat. It's a monstrosity. Chat is a monstrosity today. I'm just kidding. Poland Springs is chaotic, is what it is. Let's watch some of this. So Idubbbz. I didn't even break this down because I was unsure whether I would watch it and just, blaze through it with you guys, knowing what I know already, or if I would not watch it, react to it wholesomely and live with you guys. But I decided I'd watch it, and I did, and it was worth, I feel like, just going through and watching it with y'all. So let's do it. Should I full screen? Let's do it.
It's like you came back and you were a pawn in some game of 4D chess, and I think you found out that Idubbbz and Anissa don't play games.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video.
Should I comment on that right from the top? Weird flags, but okay. He's got Harley fucking. Anissa and Idubbbz, they don't play. We don't play games here, okay? Sam Hyde is depressed, Poland Spring says. That's not what you should aspire to be. I don't. Or Idubbbz or any of them. It's like, aspire to be is one thing. There maybe was a point in time where I aspired to be someone like Bill. Like I was just playing the take a penis, leave a penis thing. I don't anymore because he's a freak and I'm older. I don't know. I feel like the aspire to be thing is like a very young, like 20s-ish thing. You know, you aspire to be somebody. You're working towards somebody at that point. Maybe people like Idubbbz and Sam, but they're not that much older than me. So it wasn't really like I aspired to be them. I just saw the kind of shit that they did and took, a little influence from that. But yeah, like Bill Maher would have been somebody I would say I aspired to be, or Quentin Tarantino at one point. Now I'm fucking 30 and they're all freaks. So I don't aspire to be any of them, or anyone, in fact. I don't really aspire to be anyone. I think that everyone has some good qualities to talk about. Idubbbz does. Sam Hyde does. They also have bad qualities that we also talk about. So let's let Ian talk here.
Well, brief update. I am healed from Creator Clash 2. It was a success. Alex Wasabi beat me up. He won his fight fair and square, and I have all the respect for Alex. He's a good competitor, and I have respect for all the other fighters on the Creator Clash card. And thank you to all the fans who came. It was an amazing event. I'm very happy, very emotional, awesome experience. I'll never forget it. Having said all that, you guys are here for the juice. And
the juice, baby. I'm here for the juice. Thank God. Because, they already did their whole round on Twitter where they glug, glug, suck fest. We love each other, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, let's not hear a lot of that.
The grease. So I'm going to give you guys the grease and the juice.
The fat, the juice.
And that all has to do with Froggy Fresh. The reason I didn't address any of this sooner is because I was terrified of jeopardizing the success of the event, because there are a lot more people involved in this than just Anissa and I. And I didn't want to fuck it up for them. These are people that I really care about, and I felt like it would be very selfish if I was like, I understand public perception right now, guys. I'm just gonna make a quick 10-minute video and I'll squash all the rumors, I'll squash all the beef. I have no idea what public perception for this video is going to be. That's why I'm doing it now, right?
So, addressing the issue. Why did you not say shit until now, Ian? Why did you not say anything about the whole Creator Clash thing? All we got were fucking tidbits from the Creator Clash Twitter, little backhanded remarks from everybody, like nobody really knows for sure. We don't know who to trust, who's telling the truth or not. Why have you not been telling us? Okay, to save face with the event. Now, I get what he's saying. There could have been a world where he responds like this during all the drama. At that rate, there'd probably be way more of a back and forth. Now, I don't know if there's going to be more of we have a response from Froggy, but I don't know if there's going to be more of a back and forth between the two of them, Ian and Froggy. But I believe that if he would have said stuff during, leading up to the show, Creator Clash and everything, and argued with him then, that would have, who knows? You could argue both ways. It could have created a bunch of hype. Could have made him look worse because he says dumb things. I mean, let's be real. I haven't heard very many good opinions on this video yet. Most of the things that I even copied in the doc today, all the responses to this, mostly bad. Mostly everybody does not agree with Idubbbz in this whole situation. Does not think it's a good look, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. I'll make my judgment by the end. But let's keep going.
The event is now over with. I can risk it.
No more public perception.
I can air my grievances, and we can see where it goes. I need to bring you guys up to speed on where I'm at as a person and as a content creator. My philosophy for a while was, well, people will figure it out through the videos I make. But the problem is the videos I make, I sort of avoid speaking from the heart. I'm just going to focus on a piece of content. I think I have bad associations with sharing my life on the internet. I'm like, no, that shouldn't be my thing. Leave that up to the vloggers. But
I think that's true, for the most part. I don't know. I can't remember there being a lot of vlog-style Idubbbz things. Could you get a good read on his life? It's the most I think that his personal life got brought into the forefront was him getting with Anissa. Honestly. And that was inadvertent. That wasn't his fault. He didn't want probably to obviously Anissa did OnlyFans. That was the big thing. When she started to do that, then he got all the heat from that. And he had to talk about it. But I don't think necessarily that he wanted drama from that or anything. Oh, goodness gracious. It's just funny to me. Hey, Vault Wanderer, nice to see you.
But I think it's important to share where I'm at. So none of what I'm talking about in this Froggy Fresh video feels like I'm being hypocritical or, I'm misleading you in any way. I think a lot of the content I've made has been irresponsible and misguided. And I think I've hurt a lot of people with the content I've made. Despite many people being entertained by it, I'm not trying to take that away from you. If you feel like you've learned important lessons or you have grown as a person because of the content I've made, I don't want to take that away from you. With some good,
he's going to say,
can come a lot of bad.
Lot of bad. I think that's true. But, God. It's funny to see what people get upset about. It's I feel like people have this kind of conversation all of the time. Where it's you so-and-so creators change. They do stuff differently now. Or they do this differently. They're not the same. I miss the old this. I miss the old that. I miss the old person. Blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of people say that about Idubbbz. He'll go through that too. Where he's talking about Anissa changed. Everybody says Anissa changed me and blah, blah, blah. And it's that's such an argument that I don't understand. Of course, okay, if I was a YouTuber when I was 18, okay, let's say, and I was making stuff, it would have been cringy as fuck. I didn't really do my own videos and shit like that back then. I didn't do anything like this, yada yada. I was involved with all this kind of stuff. I went to school for video production. I loved movies and TV and stuff, but it was more that kind of stuff back then, not YouTuber stuff. If I was doing videos, they would have been so fucking cringy. I know what I put on social media back then was fucking cringy, emo lyrics and subtweeting relationship issues and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, it's all fucking cringy as fuck. So do people not think about like, yeah, Idubbbz did this shit before. He said this shit before. It's good to point it out, honestly. Like his Tana Mojo video now is like, what the fuck sometimes. But again, I enjoyed it then, so I can't like, looking back, stuff always looks cringy. Stuff always looks worse. I mean, we grow. All people grow. Society grows and changes. Things become less acceptable, yada, yada. And clearly, Ian was in one place, and I think he has vastly moved into another. Yeah, the shit he used to do is cringy. It was all cringy. I get that. I would have been cringy too.
And I think I've done a lot of bad, and at the bare minimum, I've just put a lot of negativity out there in the world, and I'm working on not doing that. I plan on expanding on all of this in a further video. I think there's a lot of content from over the years and some behind the scenes that I'd love to share with you guys. I think it would give clarity to where I'm at. But in this video, that's probably about all I can say on any of it. I don't want to detract from what the focus is. And the focus is kicking Froggy Fresh from the Creator Clash card.
So here, we'll get into it. But I guess he wanted to preface first off that, yeah, he's getting all this heat about like, I mean, I see it myself online all the time. It's like everybody's narrative is, he's changed. He's a cuck now. He's a bitch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anissa's changed him, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, people change as they get older. I'm not surprised that he's different. I'm not surprised that somebody acts different when they get married or get with somebody else. No shit. That happens all the time. I mean, like I said fucking multiple times earlier, I'm 30 years old. In my 20s, I was with my buddies and my friends all the time. Yeah, that's what we did. Me and Kevin and all my other buddies, chummed around, hung around, did stupid shit, whatever. But they get with people, they get with their significant others. I was with Aaron the whole time, so that's a little different. But, everybody gets with their significant others and their lives move in different directions and they change as people. Yeah. What the fuck? I don't like the whole, it just seems very bandwagony right now to be on a hate Idubbbz train. Like I said, I liked him prior to this, so maybe that's a little biased for me, but it's just like, yeah, everybody wants to say, like, you're not the same guy. You used to say this. How dare you now change your mind? And it's like the weirdest thing. I don't know. Yeah, people do it all the time. If you're the same exact person that you were, however many years, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, that's weird too. I don't know. Everybody changes. You change your views.
The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. And, for anyone who's been following the story, that's, fairly obvious. Froggy has explained, his side of the story multiple times. And unfortunately, he's been perpetuating a narrative that it's about OnlyFans or that it's about Anissa's mom.
So here we go. He's aware, because even I talked about this when we talked about this whole drama before. He's aware that the Anissa's mom thing was an issue at least, or at least people talked about it. He's aware that the OnlyFans thing was a narrative, blah, blah, blah. He says he doesn't take, obviously none of that's good. I don't think he likes any of that stuff. That people are obsessing about the OnlyFans. I don't think he likes that Anissa's mom saying all that shit. Probably not. But the big problem he had was Sam Hyde. Okay, so let's hear him out.
And that's extremely deceptive because he knows why he was kicked from the card. The one indication I gave him was Sam Hyde, and I wasn't unclear about that. Anyone who's mentioning the fact that Harley trained with Sam Hyde for the year previous, that was before Sam was saying this about my wife.
This
I don't
is
think
dope.
so, Anissa. Bitch. Ho. Fucking Anissa. What an ugly piece of shit. But look how beat she is. Oh, nice jack-o'-lantern teeth.
That's like
I can't wait to see what she looks like when she's 32.
This shit is nuts, though. He does say some fucked up shit. Now, going forward, keep all this stuff that he's saying right now in mind when Froggy talks about him later. I think the biggest thing that I gleaned from this video is how much of a simp Froggy is. But we can argue about that as the video goes along. But keep all the stuff Sam Hyde's saying in mind right now when it comes to what Froggy says later. I love how he says Anissa, though. That does make me laugh.
Her teeth look like a pumpkin head. Like
It's the Anissa Joma hole stretcher. I'm sending this to Anissa's OnlyFans. It goes directly into charity. Yeah. Everybody hates him and his wife's a slut.
So yeah, now that this guy is on the daily insulting my...
So, God, do we talk about this? I mean, obviously Idubbbz is going to give his take, but it's like, I'm online. So right now, if I think about it this way, and somebody was just constantly, nobody knows who my wife is. Nobody's ever seen my wife, and I'm going to keep it that way because for stuff like this. She's definitely not a public figure, so that changes it too. That's what sucks, is that she's a public figure, so you're allowed to criticize and, make remarks. Now, this is a little bit more than criticizing, I would say, when he says her jack-o'-lantern teeth and yada yada and all this crazy-ass shit, but I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes where somebody's streaming. I can imagine somebody streaming me watching my shit and being like, his wife, what a fucking, what a this, what a that, look at her, look how she's changed him, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, no shit. I definitely can't argue with Idubbbz there. It's like, you can say, oh, that makes him look like a bitch, like he can't take a joke, whatever, yada yada. Maybe that's what Sam's doing, is joking, and Idubbbz doesn't get the joke, whatever. I mean, I don't really either. There's some jokes that I don't get. I don't really get the joke. I mean, you can laugh at. Really, all he's doing is saying like she's ugly and she's a bitch or whatever. He kind of says that kind of shit, and it's like, okay, whatever. It really shouldn't be. It is just a brush it off your shoulder thing, and I think they do for the most part. But it is very relentless, very brought to his attention. He's been put on this. He's here and Sam's here, and it's like a versus all the time kind of thing, So I mean, the internet has made it that way. I think that Sam and Ian, Idubbbz, have a worse, bigger controversy, like juxtaposition online than like Ethan Klein and Keemstar do. Because, and here's the difference, okay, is like Keemstar will joke about a lot of shit. He'll even say like, death to all Jays, and tell people send hate to Ethan and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's all just like bullshit, talking shit. He's an idiot and saying the wrong things. But when push comes to the shove, I don't think that like they care enough, those two, to like go at each other like this. But when it comes to Ian and Sam, like Sam is just that guy. His comedy, I think, is even that. Is like pushing the boundaries. So if his fans love the fact that he's like always doing this back and forth with Ian, and Ian's his bitch, and Anissa's his bitch, and blah, 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 he's incentivized to keep doing it and pushing the boundaries. I mean, it is a lot different. Yeah, it is a lot different. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the guy, especially him. Maybe I put myself like that, in that kind of position. I'm Ian in this situation versus Sam Hyde, or I'm me in this situation, and Sam Hyde's talking this shit about me and my wife. I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want anything to do with him. If I'm throwing events or having fan things or whatever, please, yeah, there's a fucking poster in the back that has his face on it. It's like, yeah, you don't come into my establishment. It's like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with him either. Who knows what? It's always like, yeah, he's joking about everything he's doing. Sam Hyde is like, he's a comedian when it comes to it. The best comedian ever, what Froggy Fresh says. But he's a comedian, so this is all jokes. He's not going to do anything bad. But when it's the big guy like Sam and how he acts and portrays himself, and then he says that stuff, I mean, that's all part of his bit. He wants you to believe that he's the guy that would push that boundary and would go there, but it is all a joke. I mean, it's convenient that he gets to say that, but just some people don't get your joke, bro. And that's how it happens sometimes. Some people don't get your joke. Some people don't like what you're doing and how you're joking about it. And I guess that's the situation here. Let's listen to him instead of listen to me.
My wife, I think it's pretty fair to, not want to associate with him in
I
any
agree
way.
with Idubbbz.
We did ban Sam from the first event, so it's not as if he's confused about where he stands in all this. I don't like him. And Froggy knows that. Froggy knows that I don't like him. Of course. That's why he was banned. None of this is like news to Froggy. Froggy knew all of this going into it. For anyone who's under the impression that Froggy has been like reasonable and chill and respectful through this whole process, he hasn't been. He's been a piece of shit. I'm not happy with how he's behaved. He's talked mad shit about me.
Ian doesn't want people who are bigger.
So, I do want to say this before we get into a lot of these clips, and I will look at chat. I don't know. I have seen the narrative on Twitter, and I will admit I do not know. Some people are saying, some people have said, and are probably, I mean, I take them at their word. I don't know which clips are which, but some of these clips are after the fact. So it's like after he's already been kicked and knows he's kicked. This is his reaction. This is what he's saying. So people criticize this in that way, being like, well, this is already after he's kicked and the shit he's saying. So it's like, I guess he's allowed to say whatever he wants after he's kicked, which fair, but let's look at chat and see if anybody, Vault Wanderer says right here, this part is misleading. These clips are from after Froggy was kicked, so of course he was mad. Like, yeah, I get that, yeah. So, I don't know which clips are which. It's just a good point to keep in your head. Like, some of these are afterwards, so maybe some of these are in question. Maybe you shouldn't judge Froggy for being mad in some of these circumstances because it's after he's already been kicked. But let's look at chat. Poland says, I made some amazing YouTube videos at 18 and they're not cringy at all. Hash says, will you share? And Poland says they're deleted, which is a tragic thing. I agree, Hash. I might have them on my old laptop. I had to delete it when I turned 19 because I was too old to be a YouTuber. So I like that. Okay. Let's see. I'm convinced 80% of the reason why people hate Anissa is because her name is Anissa. That's an awful name. Anissa? It is an interesting name. It's an interesting name. Whatever. People have stupid names. Danny isn't all that cool. I guess it's not Anissa. Legendary Raw, nice to see you. He's monitoring. If I could speak, let me speak. He's monitoring Sam on the daily. I mean, I will say this, maybe Ian is looking into it a little. Reading into the joke a little too much. Sam isn't going to actually do anything to him. But then again, what does he know? I guess he doesn't think about it or take it that way. He's just like, Jesus Christ, this guy is a huge motherfucker, crazy, alleged Nazi. You can argue that. He's not really a Nazi, but he might have donated to some Nazis in political races before. I guess you could argue all of that if you want. But when you hear the things, and he's the fucking face of the he's the face of the school shooter. It's like, it's this guy. I don't know. He has morbid ass crazy bits and things that he does online. Like, hey, he's an intimidating guy. It is what it is. I'm willing to admit, yeah, he's an intimidating guy. I wouldn't fuck with him. Okay, I mean, I can say that he's a fucking asshole, crazy nut job. I'm not afraid to do that. I mean, if he wants to come beat me up for that, then whatever. But at the same rate, it's like, I wouldn't want to fuck with him either. If he was on my ass hating me, I'd be fucking freaked out. Here, so let's listen to these clips. This is some of what Froggy said.
And more talented than him, upstaging him. That's what it is.
Anissa.
Ian's masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
Participants of the event.
This is really a lot of weird, tender, soft people. Creator Clash people are real, like, these type of people. You know what I mean?
The event itself.
This is really like the patty cake league for like social media boxing. You know?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I was never under the impression that it wasn't like that, honestly. This is like, you know, I mean, I've always been under the impression to get as many and as wide of a creator depth or width, you know, different creators, all kinds of breadth of creators. You have to be PC. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. It's different than Misfits or whatever, or any of these other like influencer boxing things. Like, they are trying to get as many different kinds of streamers, YouTubers, a big wide variety to get also that same viewership, a wide variety of viewers. You know what I mean? So coming with that, and it's the same with everything, anything that's ever been made in media before ever, is like the wider audience you're seeking rather than specific audience. If you're seeking a wider audience rather than a deeper specific audience, like he is with Creator Clash, then you need to be more PC and more open to all different kinds of things. I get it. Yeah, he said, to be fair, and VW says, to be fair in this video, Idubbbz tries to say Froggy was kicked for being disrespectful, then uses a ton of Froggy clips of Froggy from after he was kicked. Some of the video is misleading. Cool, okay. So yeah, no, I get that.
He doesn't like the culture of Creator Clash, and he mentioned that.
And Chris Raygun and all these people, it's like some big ethos worshiping party at these things. And I don't get it. I don't get what all this shit is all about. But everybody's there to worship ethos or fucking ethos or like touching ethos titty.
Who does anybody in chat know whose show this is? I know that that's Death Crips or whatever up there in the top left. I already saw his tweet, but whose show is this that they're on? And it's these three. Who's this guy on the top right? I feel like I should know who it is, but man.
To be honest, I thought it was quite the gift to you that we'd kick you off the card. You have no more obligations, and you can immediately just pivot into boxing for Misfits.
And this is where, yeah, he talks about like Misfits is a different vibe. I mean, clearly, as the video will go on, it doesn't seem like Froggy wants to box anyways, like anymore after this. So the whole Misfits point, I guess, it's not a good, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter to him. He didn't plan on boxing again, and now he doesn't get to box. He did all the work for it or whatever. He's upset about it, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get both of them. Froggy's upset for a certain reason. I'd be upset if I was in a major event and I got kicked from it. It really wouldn't matter what the reason was that I got kicked from it. I'd be pissed. Am I right about that? Let's keep looking at chat here just a little bit. I can't get to the bottom. You guys are talking a lot. I did get the feeling that the clips were a bit misleading, VW Hash says. Legendary Ross says, I doubt he would actually sub to her OnlyFans, so it's hard to say that wasn't a joke. I doubt he would actually sub to her OnlyFans, so it's hard to say that wasn't a joke. So you don't think that Froggy and them would actually sub to Anissa's OnlyFans, and that's why it's a joke? I mean, fair enough. Right. That whole joke, the OnlyFans, oh, if I lose, I'll subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans. It was like inappropriate. And maybe they could laugh that off, but it's also compounded with all this other shit, I guess, It's like, it was definitely a relentless. Froggy said a lot of shit at one point, especially that. And his back and forth with Anissa's mom. Like, if he was already vibing with Sam and Ian says that's the reason why he doesn't want him on the card anymore or on the show anymore, he was already doing the Sam back and forth thing, and then all this stuff starts piling on. I mean, yeah, it's an easy kick you out. I get that. I get it. Hash says, VW, you're right. It should have been in the contract not to work with Sam, since it seemed like something they already had concerns about. That's interesting. And probably based take. I mean, that's probably correct, but imagine a contract that says, addendum, like, you cannot work with Sam Hyde. No one can work with Samantha Hyde on this show. August Child says, yo, nice to see you, August Child. Vault Wanderer says, I'm Team Froggy and Sam. I mean, and that's fine. I think ultimately, if you're a fan of Sam, it doesn't matter what Idubbbz says, and it doesn't really matter what Sam says, honestly. He could say whatever. You would still be a fan of him. Vice versa, I think, is the same way. Honestly, Idubbbz is suffering from a little fallen fan syndrome, I think, now. Because a lot of the, crazier people are Sam fans now instead of Idubbbz fans like they used to be, so... Everybody has their side. I mean, I don't really care either way. Honestly, like, if Sam does something interesting, Sam Hyde, which he's doing this fish tank stuff, and it's cool and all, but I need a rap. I'm not a Big Brother. I'm not a reality TV show kind of person, especially theirs is like every day. I don't really care that much. When it's over, I would like to watch the Spark Notes or whatever, and I think that's fun. But aside from that, anything that Sam does, if I think it's interesting or fun or funny or looks cool or, whatever, I would watch. Same thing with Idubbbz. I mean, I would, if I had to pick like somebody to hang out with or be in a room with, it'd probably be Ian over Sam, because I don't think that Sam would like me. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, maybe he would. I don't know. I got to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it just seems like we wouldn't vibe, I guess. I don't know. So I'm not picking a team like that, Vault Wanderer, but I will say Sam Hyde is not my flavor, typically. I mean, the guy. I'll watch his stuff. Sam does have extremely offensive humor. If you never saw MDE, there's a lot of boundary pushing jokes. And yeah, like, I never really watched the $1 Million Extreme shit, or like his Adult Swim. I mean, if that's the same thing, like the stuff he did on Adult Swim too, blah blah blah. I never really watched any of that, so I don't have any kind of like I don't have any nostalgia or like feelings of him prior to like his recent buzz online. And the whole, like, he thought he was canceled because he voted for Trump thing is like, anybody that says that kind of shit, I'm kind of looking at like, you're an idiot, but it is what it is. I don't mind his offensive humor. I will say that. August Child says, they're all angry that Ian isn't the edgy edster that he was years ago. I mean, that's the fallen fan thing. It's like a lot of people are mad. Ball Wonders says, Crip Daddy Death Crips. I don't know the name, but Crip has a podcast. I'll check. So yeah, Crip, I'm familiar with him. I don't know who the other guy was on that podcast. My favorite MDE sketches are ones about Nick's wife. I haven't seen anything more edgy or funny in recorded history. Is like Legendary Raw says this. Is that the clip? Is that like the very memed clip of Sam with the weird hair and he's sitting on the couch and he's got the weird reaction because the lady falls face first in the glass and stuff? Is that Nick's wife? Is that who we're talking about here? I mean, yeah, that shit's wild. When I saw that shit, I mean, yeah, you laugh, but it is wild. It is weird humor. Okay, let's listen to Ian more. Shit.
It's like that's the culture that you want. You want the non-sissy, you want the macho dude traditional boxing culture. So go over there and box for them. You don't even have to miss that many months of training. You've been training. So hop on one of those cards. But unfortunately, Froggy doesn't want to hop on one of those cards because he thinks the skill level is too high.
Personally, in my opinion, I think the talent at Misfits and Happy Punch is in a different league that is out of my league.
Footwork is amazing.
Oh, I don't like that music.
And then right here, it's down. You stop. Come on. It turns quickly from boxing to assault.
Just fight someone who's weaker than you.
I mean, that is pretty funny. I mean, come on. You got to give him that one. He's like, Misfits boxing, they've got a little higher skill level than I'm used to, and then he shows 800 pounds, one ring, fucking Wings and Boogie fucking getting down. And it's like, you don't even have to show me the other clips. That was the funniest part. I love that. Yeah. The skill level is off your charts, dude, because Wings and Boogie would bounce fucking Froggy Fresh off the wall with their bellies, dude. Out of your fucking league, bro.
So I'm done with boxing. I can fulfill my current obligations if for some reason Creator Class changed their mind.
People had a big problem with this. Does he think that putting a clown face on him makes him sound stupid or something? Bang, 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 bang. I mean, people are so wild. What? You put a clown face.
Fulfill my current obligations. I'm not interested in going further into any other boxing.
It's such a fucking cop-out that you're like, all right, I'm such a victim for getting kicked off the Creator Clash event when I knew what would get me kicked off the Creator Clash event. And now you're like, I don't want to box anymore. It's like, come on. If you look at my text exchange with Froggy, it's very clear that I didn't...
So should we look at some of these text exchange? Let's just see this little stop point that I made here.
It's very...
Oh! Okay. I'm trying to read some of this. It's all scattered here. Here, let me put me off the screen a little bit. So green is Ian. I can't read any of Froggy's message up here besides, I don't believe he intends to do so. I have not discussed this with him. I do intend to make content with him. He's talking about Sam. Now that I've answered your question, would you be respectful enough to answer mine? Ian says, this event is really important to me, and I'm just trying to understand everything so I can make the best decision for everyone involved. I need time to think about this. I don't want to be rash. And then Froggy says, so I'm going to schedule practice this week, not knowing whether or not you're allowing me to fight in the event, because I'm going to hang out with someone you don't like. Okay. I don't understand. Oh, this is Ian. I don't understand why you're talking to me like this. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I explained you the awful experience I've had with him. It potentially leads to another year of harassment for me and Anissa. I can't take this stuff lightly. Can you guarantee that it's not going to end up affecting the event, blah, 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 or something like that? This isn't just someone I don't like. This is someone who is dedicated to disrupting an event we're running for charity, harassing its two main organizers, and sending his fan base to do his bidding. I want you to fight. I just want you to know the pain he caused me and Anissa in our event. So there you go. I mean, that's him spilling all the beans, Ian there. Froggy says, dude, because you're trying to tell me who I can and can't be friends with, I'm going to Rhode Island to work with Sam, and I'm scheduling my practices for this week. If I'm being removed from the event, please let me know. So, okay. It is a bunch of, I mean, Andy says here, this video is just Ian saying, don't pick on my girlfriend. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's his wife, I guess, right? Or whatever. Anyways. Guess that doesn't matter, but... I mean, yeah. I don't know. What do you do in cases like this? It's not a lot of people that both... It's not a lot of creators that wife and husband online making content. It's also not a lot of creators where one person is a very edgy, you know, at least historically has been a edgy, judgmental, you know, commentary guy. Okay? So that means people are going to take him to task extra and criticize everything he does extra because that's what he does. I guess he should expect that. And Anissa doing OnlyFans is like an open door to harass them for that. You know, again, I think it's very easy to say, like, yeah, it's a, like, this is an L for for Ian. Don't pick up my girlfriend. I mean, there is a lot of that vibe, but it's like, what do you do as when there's a bunch of people criticizing your significant other online? There's a lot of things you could do. Stay quiet, defend them to the end, you know, be more vocal than he is. I don't know. Less vocal than he is. But ultimately, like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like it if people were making fun of my significant other either, or criticizing me for what she does and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. I mean, yeah, it's a lot, but they're both public figures online. I get why they feel the way they do. I also get why people think that they can be criticized to the utmost end. I mean, it all makes sense. I'm just trying to empathize with myself in their position. Like, I'm sure it sucks. Let's see. Ian should have laid out his expectations or requirements very clearly up front. I think he assumed things were inferred. Ultimately, Froggy keeps $15K, so I'm not sure what he can mourn. Now, this is all from August Child. All interesting points, because they did ask for the money back. I think he talks about that a little bit here. Didn't get money back. So Froggy did get to keep that, or he probably spent it, you know, whatever. I don't know what the case is. Nobody does but him, really. And yeah, I think Ian probably did make a lot of inferences and needs to be more explicit with the way it is. I think after this year, when people see how it went down, it's going to be very more obvious what goes and what doesn't, but we'll see, you know. Vault Wanderer says, Ian never explicitly came out against Sam. Their beef was mainly speculation, plus on top of Harley training with Sam last year. I get that Froggy didn't know how much of an issue it would be. Yeah. You do. I guess it is a lot of inferences there. Yeah, just like August Child said, like, Ian assumed a lot of these things that maybe Froggy didn't know necessarily. Definitely it was made a point, but I think by the time it was made a point, maybe it was too late. Didn't Ian say Froggy never actually posted with Sam Hyde either? He just tweeted that he was working with him or something? They'll get into that. Let's keep going.
Pretty clear that I didn't want to kick him from the card. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want you working or training with Sam Hyde, but you're doing that, so all right, I'll look past it. I don't want you making content with Sam Hyde, but it seems like that's a real deal breaker for you, so I guess I'll look past it. It came to the point where I was like, can you postpone releasing content with Sam Hyde?
Look, you know me and Sam don't get along. You know, we put a lot of time and energy in this creator clash thing. I don't want it to be about Sam Hyde. So just don't let it hurt the event. All right, go train with him, have fun, but don't let it hurt the event. Don't make it about Sam Hyde. That's what I would have said to you if I was Idubbbz.
Right, and guess what? Like, I didn't even plan on releasing none of the Sam Hyde content until after the event.
If you don't know who Sam Hyde is, he's, whether or not you love him or hate him, you have to recognize him as
okay, this is something.
He's the most talented comedian alive. He's the most talented comedian of our generation. He's got to probably be the greatest comedian of all time. He's insanely, he's a genius. I got a chance to go out there and train with him. He welcomed me into his environment. He paid people to train me.
I didn't even plan on releasing none of the Sam Hyde content until after the event.
Didn't you tell them that? I thought you told them that.
Ian requested it through text. He requested that I did that. What I didn't like that he requested that, because I don't think that's a
emojis on his face again. All right, so holy shit, that's a lot to take in. I think this was like the part, sorry, bald warning. I think this was like the part of the video, honestly, that this might be the only reason, or this might be one of the biggest reasons as to why I don't know if I could ever make myself get into a Froggy Fresh, like get into his content or whatever. Because, and I realized that a lot of people, you know, when you don't have the whole in-depth view on a person, like impressions make you not want to fuck with them. I'm sure that's why a lot of people don't watch us, is because their first impression is like, oh God, he's wearing Teddy Fresh on his head. Fuck that thing anyways. I'm not even going to watch it. But Froggy here talking about Sam, criticizing Ian at the same time, you know, about how he acts and how Anissa has changed him and yada yada. He makes a lot of, you know, he criticizes Ian a lot. And then he goes on the ultimate suck fest of Sam Hyde here. The greatest comedian ever will end up being one of the greatest comedians to ever live, blah, blah, blah. Like all this shit. It's like, whoa. Look, I just talked about it a bit, like his style and how he does it and blah, blah, blah. And some people find that funny. I find it funny occasionally. But the best comedian ever, the funniest comedian of all time, it's like Froggy not only had an inkling of Sam and Ian's relationship. Now, this is where I want to kind of push back, I guess, now against, maybe he didn't know some things. Maybe the intentions weren't made clear, but Froggy clearly is a huge Sam Hyde fan. The fact that he didn't know anything about their relationship prior and how Ian would react to all of it now after his suckfest seems a little sus to me. I think he knew everything. I think he really likes Sam. And once he had the opportunity to do that, he wasn't going to miss it. I mean, clearly he regards him as one of the best comedians ever and one of the people he looks up to the most. Okay? So yeah, he's going to do that no matter what, regardless of what Creator Clash is, especially if he can get away with the 15K or whatever and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's wrong for Froggy to take the point, like, you can't give him that benefit of the doubt, really, that he didn't know the extent, that he didn't know the boundaries or whatever. Because I think Ian tries to say that he kind of tried to make it clear, you know, maybe not explicitly enough, but the behind the scenes of it all, Froggy Fresh definitely aware of all of their relationship, all of their interactions. He knew the Sam Hyde. He knew all of it. He knew all of that. So I won't give him the whole, like, he did. Oh, well, I don't know if he knew the extent. Like, I did think that for a second, but now hearing, he's the best comedian ever, blah, blah, blah. It's like he knows the ins and outs of the whole situation. Let's see what chat has to say. Danny is insecure and thinks Sam wouldn't like him with a cry face. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I'm insecure about it because I don't really care. You know, whatever, but I don't think he would like me, no. Good thing I won't be anywhere near that motherfucker. Andy Zucchini says, anyone is allowed to comment on public nude, okay? That's true. That is true. You put it out. Legendary Raw says, Ian said people should make jokes about her OnlyFans and then get super salty about it. I mean, yeah. Fair. He says that. People should make jokes. Well, yeah, okay. I mean, that's what he advocates, obviously. So I agree to an extent that, yeah, he shouldn't get super salty about it. I don't know. It ends up being a lot more than just one thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he probably shouldn't be salty about them criticizing or make fun of the OnlyFans thing. But you got to realize that it ended up being a lot more than just that. Stacked, compounded things that made it so he's getting more and more salty. I mean, I can see how that happens. Ian wants people to guess that they can't train with Sam. His beef was comments Sam made on the streams, but has never addressed them. So how are people expected to know? It's also the kind of thing is like, you don't want to give attention to somebody. You don't want to give attention to somebody that's constantly going on their streams and saying, Anissa's a whore, pig, disgusting, bust her teeth out, fucking jack-o'-lantern style, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Talking about her gaper or whatever and just nasty ass shit. It's like, I don't know. I feel like his beef was comments Sam made on streams that never addressed them. So how are people expected to know? Yeah. If I was Ian, would I want to give more attention and talk about Sam all the time? Probably not. He does again. He does here. He has to. So I guess you're right. He eventually was going to do it, so he should address them. How are people supposed to know? But I just think that that's a wrong, I don't know. It's weird to me to be like, how are people supposed to know? All these people, Froggy and Sam and blah, 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 they all know the reactions they get. They all know how he feels about it. That's why they keep pressing it. I mean, at least Sam knows. It's funnier to him. It's funnier to Sam that Ian is reacting the way he does. So he's always constantly going to push them. Until now, maybe, because Ian asks him to stop. But until now, like, he was always going to push it further and further because he liked Ian's reaction to it, you know? But I don't know. Is that what it always has to come to? It's like, I have to now tell everyone when you have to be completely explicit when it comes to harassment online. Like, you're allowed to do it and it's all funny jokes until I'm finally like, hey, no more. I don't like you. I don't want these jokes. And then you get to go on a tirade after that about how I'm sensitive and a sissy that I said, hey, I don't want to associate with you. I don't like you. I don't like these jokes. And then you get to make fun of me for that. So it's like, you realize that this is all lose, 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 lose. And this video definitely lose, 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 lose for Ian. August Child says Sam is going to keep pushing, partly out of him being petty and partly due to creating content and maintaining some kind of cultural relevance outside of a niche circle. I mean, yeah, that's very true. Poland says, I never criticized Danny's emo wife. I just said he should treat her better. Okay, Poland, hold the phone.
Doinks.
I treat my wife very well. But Ian should have communicated that to the contestants better. So, right. I mean, I think you guys all have a point that Ian is definitely still feeling all these fucking rules and regulations and how to act and treat and host a thing like this.
I think it was appropriate. I do not think that that is appropriate. Do you think it's appropriate that, I don't know, a 30-something-year-old man is publicly calling my wife a whore and a slut?
I think initially you can just buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this has got a separate Etsy page where she sells her pussy.
Yoko Ono was too concussed to fight.
See, and this is a bit more than just, you know, criticizing her OnlyFans too. I mean, we can say that like a lot of it's jokes about her OnlyFans, but Sam here is saying a lot more than just her OnlyFans. I mean, she creates content on OnlyFans. Doesn't mean that she's like a fucking, what he's saying, a whore or whatever, selling her butt or whatever else. Ball Wonder says, you're assuming every contestant is watching every Sam stream to keep up with the beef. If training with Sam was okay last year, but not this year because of Sam's comments, tell people. Well, I think he explains that too. We'll go along and see, but I think a lot of it was like there was beef last year. Like there was controversy last year. It was all wrapped up in that. Him training with Harley and all that, yada, yada, last year. Like, there was beef with Sam Hyde last year. We talked about it, I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't assume that every contestant keeps up with the beef. So yeah, I think you're correct that it should be more explicit, but Froggy specifically knows all that stuff. He knows. I mean, I think it's not true that I think he knew. I can't say for sure, so I can't say not true or whatever, I guess. You know what I'm saying? This is all my assumption, but with the way he refers to Sam, I assume that Froggy is very well informed about the whole situation. When you know Ian and you know Sam, I mean, he's well aware of Ian and Ian's presence online. He's in his event. He knows who Ian is. When he's a huge best comedian ever fan of Sam, he was aware. He's not an idiot. He's a successful creator online. He's not an idiot. He knew. Plus, like, yeah, every contestant might not be aware, but they're all creators online. Like, you hear this stuff. They're all friends with Ian. They're all talking to Ian constantly behind the scenes, the people that are in this event. And, I mean, I guess they tried to talk to Froggy, and we'll get into that too. But, there are a lot of assumptions being made, yeah. Let's keep going.
In Creator Clash for the second year in a row.
Life is so easy for a certain gender. All you have to do is say that my uterus hurts. What did she say this time? Her uterus hurts? Or uterus fell out?
Had another concussion.
Probably your uterus fell out from getting blown out so much by toys.
Is that appropriate, Froggy?
I mean, that's fucked up. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's like you can laugh at that, and that's fine. But it is also fucked up at the same time. Like, I wouldn't want people to say that about my lady either. But I guess he does say toys here. Blown out by toys. So he's specifically making a joke about OnlyFans, I guess.
Do you think that's appropriate?
I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay, you don't think it's appropriate that I set boundaries. I don't think it's appropriate that you are hanging out with a guy who doesn't think women are people. Like, I don't think that's appropriate.
I was like, I don't think you should be telling me when I can't release content. Like, this is my career. It's what I do for a living.
But you complied with it, right?
But I was going to anyways, but I didn't like people telling me that. I thought that was out of line.
I don't know why he's saying that he was planning on waiting to post Sam Hyde content. We have the Twitter timeline of him nonstop posting Sam Hyde content. It's fucking weird. I don't know if he thought it was like a loophole to post on Twitter about Sam Hyde.
And that was another thing that I thought was interesting in this whole back and forth is that the content thing. Now, if we're taking it at all those interviews and everything where Froggy was talking about all that stuff was afterwards, and he was saying, well, no, those Twitter lives or whatever weren't afterwards, were they? With Keemstar and shit? Maybe they were. But either way, there was a point in time where before, like, the day that it dropped that he was getting kicked, and before the video of him saying the OnlyFans joke, there was already him training with Sam. So that is the posting Sam Hyde content. Like, he had been doing that. But again, it's like, I don't know. This is all muddy waters, isn't it? You know, I guess Ian has to be explicit from now on and say specifically, like, no Sam Hyde, whatever. But I do see, like, it's weird to have to do that, isn't it? You know, if I was creating something, let's say I wanted to rip off Fireball that Salvo did, and I was throwing an event with a bunch of people, do I make it explicit that I, like, there are tons of people that I don't like in the community that I won't invite and don't want to associate with my shit? But do I make that explicit? Does that cause more controversy when you include in contracts, like, we cannot talk about Adolf Hitler, we can't talk about Bob Ross, we can't train with Sam Hyde, we can't talk about Sam Hyde. I mean, I don't know. It does get weird, but I get it. You know, you do have to be explicit if you take issue with it.
So I think in his head, he was like, I was going to wait to post Sam Hyde content, parentheses, YouTube video.
Like, because like it's not my problem that you have personal beef with the greatest comedian in the world. If I go to Providence,
how am I the simp?
See, like, I mean, Ian's gonna riff here and joke on him a little bit, but I do have to say, like, by God, dude, you can't on one hand say, Ian, you've been changed by Anissa. Anissa has changed you. You're such a cuck now. You're such a simp for her, whatever. And then as soon as you start hanging around with your number one comedian friend, Sam Hyde, you suck him off every chance you get. Just saying. Somebody's changed.
How am I the simp? I want to know. Is it because it's a woman? It's because it's a woman, isn't it? It's okay to simp for a big, gross dude. It's okay. It's understandable. He's big and he's gross. As soon as you simp for someone who's literally your partner, your life partner, that's too much. That's kind of gay.
if I go to Providence, Rhode Island and get an opportunity to work with him, that should be my option to when I release that content. And it's got nothing to do with you. Not everything that people do with Sam Hyde involves Idubbbz. And I think that he misinterprets that.
Which I would agree with, like, typically. But they are doing a boxing event. And he's like training for, I mean, don't they kind of have to do with each other? I mean, he obviously is saying here that they don't. But they really do, right? Or am I wrong about that? I mean, I don't know. They do kind of have to do with each other, right?
Talking about people, we're talking about what you do with Sam Hyde, because you're in my event. I wish there were many layers of separation so I really could be that disconnected. Unfortunately, I have to be around you. You have to fight at my event. I have to share the same space as you know, in the parties, at the event itself, and I don't want to do that. I have no interest in sharing that space with you.
So for him to tell me, hey, could you wait until after the event to release that? In my mind, I'm thinking, I mean, I could, but it's weird for you to tell me to do that because it's got nothing to do with you.
Another thing that contributed.
So Ian says, you're a creator in my event, and if you are doing content with Sam Hyde, that looks bad on my event. Okay, that's his logic there, I guess. But Froggy says, it shouldn't matter when I release content with Sam because it has nothing to do with you. But the content he's doing with Sam is training for boxing for Ian's event. I don't know. I think everybody's kind of stupid in this situation. I think Froggy's completely stupid for what he's saying. That they have nothing to do with each other, they do. And I think it's a weird, uncomfortable, and stupid situation to tell somebody like when they can and cannot release content. Now, I am also operating under the assumption that Ian's saying, right, that he told him no content with Sam Hyde.
To Froggy getting kicked was that he tweeted at Nathan Barnett, aka Dad. He said, "Dude, I tried hyping you up at Denny's when we ate dinner, and they said they weren't fucking with you and that you were going to lose to AB. They don't even like you."
Now that's a fucking claim, okay? He deletes the tweet. So that tweet isn't up from Froggy Fresh anymore, interestingly enough. But that's a bold claim to make. If they were talking shit about Dad for real, then that's one thing. I guess, I don't know. You just have to believe who you believe, because it seems like Ian doesn't agree with this.
This is one of those things where it was like, oh, okay, so you basically don't have any good intentions here. You are just like, you don't like us. Like, I'm not here to play with people and give them warnings. Like, we're all adults on the card. I'm not going to give you a warning. Actually, no, I will give you a warning if I think you have good intentions. The problem is when you tweet shit out like this and you have the text message exchange that Froggy had with me, I don't think you have good intentions. You're like trying to like ruin a relationship between me and one of my friends. Froggy deleted that tweet, and I don't think he deleted it because he felt differently. I think he deleted it because he knew that it could potentially get him kicked from the event and would also make him look like an asshole. But he basically reiterated that same thing in a Twitter space.
When I was
So, bear with me here because I'm going to listen to what Froggy says here. And I'm not going to look at chat yet because I don't want to get distracted. But has he said that it's not true yet?
at fucking Denny's, I was all like telling them, "Yo, Dad's a fucking savage," and they're all like, "No, Dad doesn't spar with high level fucking competition. He's gonna lose to AB." And I'm thinking, these motherfuckers are.
So
like,
who said that? Who said that?
Fucking Ian and Anissa, like that's the way these motherfuckers are. And then they got Dad like riding for them. They don't even. And if like I wouldn't be like this, but if everybody's gonna keep calling me out, like I'm the fucking person that's fucking shit up, like that Dad's out here riding for them. They're all like, they don't even fucking give a fuck about him.
And then,
so that's interesting. And I don't think I've heard him say that they didn't say that. He did say bad intentions, meaning like if you're going to tell people the shit I say behind the scenes to harm the event, that's bad intentions. But that means that he said it, right? Like they actually said this stuff about Dad. I haven't heard him say he did.
In the Twitter space where Froggy says this, Sam Hyde, Froggy's hero, calls Nathan a rapist like several times.
Now that's fucked. This is fucked. Again, it's fucking Sam's fucking humor or whatever. You can say, you can argue it all day, whatever, that this is his offensive humor or whatever, but it's like...
Nathan Barnett guy, I guarantee you that guy would rape somebody if he had the opportunity.
Yeah, legally he would rape somebody in Minecraft.
You know who that is behind... Illegally, he would rape somebody in Minecraft. You know who that fucking idiot, dumbass fuck blocked me on Twitter, ass, dumb fuck, douche, Nick Diorio.
By the way.
In Minecraft.
Yes.
he if he had the chance to rape a woman, he would.
In Minecraft.
Not in Minecraft.
Like, I don't even... Like, Keemstar doesn't laugh, and then you've got fucking... the thwomp from fucking Super Mario 64 back there fucking giggling.
I don't want anything to do with Sam. I don't want anything to do with people that think what Sam is doing is okay. It is not okay. Here's part of the Twitter space where Harley...
Okay. So there's a planted flag. That's Ian saying, you know, he's well aware that the argument is these are Sam jokes, whatever, but that's Ian saying basically the jokes aren't that funny and aren't that cool. Now, I agree, you know, that's why I don't watch Sam or listen to Sam very much. Whenever it's something that maybe I'll be interested in and it passes my way, you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and I'll watch it. But as far as like, yeah, watching Fish Tank every day or watching his live streams all the time, I don't, because I just don't like that kind of humor. And I understand why somebody wouldn't. I mean, calling somebody a rapist straight up, you know, is like pretty fucked, even if you're joking. And his whole humor is like to make it seem like he's not, you know? So you can't... That's the thing with Sam, or at least that's the thing with Sam's crowd, Sam's viewers and shit, is they've got to realize that, like, not everybody's in on the joke. Not everybody thinks it's as funny as you do, whatever. Sometimes that's the funniness of it, you know? Somebody's reaction that don't know what the fuck's going on. But all in all, I don't think you can be too, like, I don't think it's too crazy that somebody may not get it right off the front, you know what I mean? May not get the... Plus, I mean, it's easy to just say whatever the fuck you want and then be like, just joking, though. Like, you can say, he's allowed... Essentially, we're saying Sam Hyde's allowed to say the craziest, off-the-wall, most offensive, in-your-face, fucked up shit he can say. And we're just supposed to all be like, well, it's a joke. That's his humor, you know, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's a cop-out. I don't know. I just don't like that. August Child says, I hate the it's jokes, buddy, as much as just asking questions, bro. Both weasel tactics. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Oh, Sam Hyde. Oh, you know it, lad.
Is sort of questioning Tyler with why he wouldn't, respond to Anissa. And I think that's a very valid question, because you ask any of our fighters and it's like, yeah, Anissa was the one who like solves problems. She is more communicative than me, and she's better at communicating than I am.
So this is an interesting point to keep in mind too, is that, we have said quite a few times here, oh, they didn't make it explicit or whatever. There was no contract that said no Sam Hyde. Maybe Ian was too late in the situation, blah, blah, blah. But it also seems like Froggy really wasn't intent on I think there was something where maybe Froggy felt he didn't fit in. I think he may have fit in with the kind of people that do misfits boxing or something like that, and that's fine. And I think he may be there, he may have felt like he was in a situation where he doesn't vibe with all these people. Maybe this was an easy way for him to get out, to lean into the Sam thing. And then once, he gets to meet his favorite comedian ever, he totally leans into it, and he's fine with bailing on this event, and blah, blah, blah. I can make my own assumptions too, right?
Fucking suck at this shit. So Anissa...
Legendary Raw says, Ian got some kind of humiliation kink. I mean, that is the thing. I feel fucking sorry for this motherfucker sometimes, dude, because, yeah, the amount of shit he gets thrown at him, and then to have to stand up while there's shit being thrown at you and say whatever, answer whatever, Yeah. You've got to embrace the humiliation there. I do agree with that.
Anissa is the one. She is the one to talk to.
How was I even supposed to know Ian and Anissa were mad when I get one call from Justin Tracy, then a text message, I respond to it immediately, say, could you communicate through text or email? I'm training. And then nothing else. I still don't even know if Anissa.
What's the last text you sent to Anissa?
It was probably some group message from
okay. But what was the last text
4
you
months
sent to Anissa, just you two?
I like, I had to say hats off to Harley, because he is in the fucking lion's den here. I feel like this is Keem's hosting it. He's here with Froggy. I don't know who else is sitting in the call. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this was Harley going into the fucking lion's den and fighting, putting up a fight, dude. To bitch back and forth with them like this.
I don't have one direct text from Anissa. I have a group chat with my wife and Anissa. There's a group chat.
Dude, that totally gives me the fucking...
You couldn't say shit if you had a mouthful.
That fucking bit right there. I mean, I can't help but read into this a little bit. He's fucking stumbling over his words.
I don't have one direct text from Anissa. I have a group chat with...
It just makes him look disingenuous.
My wife and Anissa, there's a group chat. I do not have any direct
sorry. Okay. Did anyone ever text you and your wife? What was the last thing Anissa said you and your wife to you and your wife's phone? What was the last thing?
Tense moments in the Twitter space as Froggy goes to
Shut up, Keem.
It's, hey, Tyler, I'm not with Ian. I'm home visiting family. Ian called me not feeling great, and I'm just trying to understand what's happening or how I can help.
What's the date?
Sunday, March 12th.
You don't want to respond to that?
No, because you don't know the context of that. You don't have the context. Harley, let me give you the context.
Burn our Twitter account instead of responding to that very serious and sympathetic text that was nowhere near threatening or aggressive.
Froggy wasn't a...
Hats off to you, bald hats off to you, my friend. Harley, that's some balls to sit there in their fucking... in their... space, where they're all favored, and put him to task like that. And I think he makes a point. Yeah, it's why didn't you... I mean, again, this is all stuff that we get revealed, an inside look into the whole thing. We don't have all the context ever, but this context here makes it seem like, yeah, Froggy's being a little disingenuous in terms of how he's acting towards Ian and Anissa and explaining them when it looks like she tried to hit him up and he just, well, you don't know the context, Harley, of why I didn't message her back.
Able to give context for why he didn't respond to Anissa's call and text message in the Twitter space. Harley ended up leaving. The conversation went elsewhere. So he uploaded a Twitter video to explain the context for why he didn't respond to Anissa.
Anissa's last text, which was checking on me. Anissa.
Hey, Tyler, Froggy. I'm not with Ian. I'm home visiting. Ian called me not feeling great, and I'm just trying to understand what's happening or how I can help.
This concern text of hope everything's going okay was a way for her to try to manipulate the situation, to try to do further investigation into my friendship with Sam Hyde. That was not an "Are you okay?" text. That was a Ian is not able to break your shell. Maybe a vague, concerned, manipulative text from me will be able to.
He thinks this.
I mean, it is weird again that he's like rooting into all this shit. It's like, it's their event, dude. And she's trying to talk to you about whatever's going on. Why do you want to be so secretive about the Sam Hyde thing anyways? I mean, just let her know, or you know it's going to get you in trouble. That's the thing all over again. Is like, we're going off the, oh, yeah, he didn't know the full extent. He didn't know that he couldn't do all this shit. But it seems like at every turn that Froggy did know that they would be mad about him being with Sam. In fact, he didn't want to even talk about it with Anissa because he knew she was trying to break the shell and investigate on what he was doing with Sam. Well, why would they care about what, like, he's acting like he doesn't know why they would care about. Well, it has nothing to do with you. Why does it matter if I'm with Sam? But when they try to investigate about it, he doesn't want to be forthcoming with the info because he knows that it'll get them in trouble. He knows that he'll get in trouble if he says, I'm hanging out with Sam. Right? I mean, that's what it seems like here. I think, again, he knows that that shit's going to get him in trouble. He doesn't want to talk about it.
This text message is manipulation. No, Froggy, we wanted to solve the problem. Let me just say, Anissa is just trying to exist. You know, she doesn't want anything to do with the drama. She doesn't want anything to do with this shit.
You can take and leave all this little bit that he's going to say here. I mean, it's like, yeah, I get that she doesn't want anything to do with it. I know that by now, but she is a public figure standing right next to you, doing the creator clash thing. It's like, it's just going to happen.
And I have brought a lot of it into her life. And I take responsibility for that. But unfortunately, a lot of people who think that I've changed or call me a cuck or whatever, they've decided, instead of saying that I've changed and that I'm the decider of my future, it's that Anissa has changed me. So she has been the target of a lot of hate. And I think it's...
I'll talk about this too, and how I think this is a weird point, how your wife would change you. Interesting. How would you living in a house with somebody all the time and adapt and, you know, trying to make it work with somebody for the rest of your life, how would you change it all? That didn't make any sense. Poland Spring says, I don't watch Sam Hyde's videos, but sometimes I go to his apartment and peek in his windows. He eats frosted mini wheats for dinner, and there were a lot of Thai food containers. Interesting look in on Sam Hyde's life.
Really shitty, and hearing Tyler talk about her in this way is just a reminder where it's like, Anissa's trying to manipulate you? What the fuck was I doing? Was I trying to manipulate you as well? Like, you should probably come out and say that because it seems really fucking sexist and creepy for you to be saying these things.
You know what I feel? I'm gonna be honest.
I mean,
with you,
I agree.
I really
Weird.
didn't buy none of this at the beginning until I was living in it. I kept always hearing people saying like, Anissa ruined Idubbbz, Anissa ruined Idubbbz, and I was always like, nah, whatever. Like they can work out their problems, and I was never buying into that bullshit. But I swear to God, when like once you live an event, it's like, okay, I think Ian met the wrong person. I honestly think it's just like, I think sometimes you bond with the wrong person. It can take you to make the wrong decisions, maybe. When I'm at my wedding,
I think that's some, I don't know. This is some kind of like incel reasoning to me. It's like weird. Like they've never experienced he's never experienced an actual relationship before, or at least a long-term one. I mean, I don't know. It seems just weird to me. When I met my wife, quite a different person than I am now. I was with her for years before she was my wife too. There was multiple times in multiple different periods of my life that I was with my wife, and I changed throughout all of that, definitely from her influence as well, because guess what? I'm with her every day, all the time. She's probably changed from me as well. I mean, that's what happens when you're in a relationship with somebody. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you change. Also, when you grow up, you change. There's all kinds of change. Anissa changed him for the worse. It's like, I mean, I guess you think that that's for the worse and that Anissa did it. But it's like, you're saying that as if he doesn't have a conscious decision or something. You grow and change. You grow and change with your wife, your significant other, whatever. Yeah, that happens.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, like I met my wife, I got better the more time I spent with her because she like was honestly a better person.
Oh, so he does get it.
Dude, honestly, it seemed like so when Ian as soon as he starts messing with Anissa, it's like Ian goes from the person who would be dogging people, who would sue people, to then like.
So he went from the immature guy that would constantly talk shit about someone.
His event that he's running is suing people. It's like a complete flip.
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy.
I just don't get it. It's like, yeah, he used to be the guy that flings shit, and now he's not. He's also had a wife in between there for years and years, and he's changed differently now. I mean, are you going to attribute it to Anissa? Or are you going to attribute it to years of his life, fucking different situations, culture changing? I mean, whatever. It's like, I don't know. This is all just full of shit.
We have no interest in going to court over $15,000. We wanted that $15,000 back, but
that's interesting.
He wasn't giving it to us. So
I will say that.
We have to leave.
I will say that. Good for you, Froggy, if you came out with that. I mean, honestly, I don't think that Froggy has $10K sitting in his bank or something that he scammed out of Creator Clash. It's like he probably spent $15K or more training and stuff. So I doubt he like made out like a bandit or anything with anything, but
leave it at that.
He didn't give it back.
Froggy, if you're let back on, it's not like you're going to make enough.
I love this. So Diorio got the nerdy face, dumbass face without any recognition of who he was. And then Bo Blacks as well.
Their OnlyFans joke about Anissa, right? Like,
no, I mean, like, if they make me sign a contract that I can't, then
fuck
I won't.
you, bye-bye.
You know, I find it so strange.
Fuck you.
Wet-ass furries with deep, wet pussies. A fox pussy cock, man.
Bo Blacks got the nerdy face.
Because it's like, you know.
That was a joke. Obviously, I wouldn't do anything more OnlyFans.
I don't think Froggy respects sex workers. I think he has some really old, tired opinions about people who do sex work. I think he has a lot of weird opinions as well about.
That's also a thing that people constantly say, oh, we should be able to make jokes and criticize OnlyFans. Yeah, that's true. But like, I mean, I don't know what that joke is. It's you're a whore. Ew, you're a disgusting pig because you do OnlyFans. It's like, hey, I don't know. It's just not funny to me.
Masculinity and shit.
Ian's masculinity had been completely.
You wouldn't have a lot of things. A lot of these people would be suffering online if you didn't have people like, maybe not Anissa specifically, but people that do the kind of stuff that Anissa does. If you didn't have those kind of people, a lot of men, women, people across the world would suffer a lot more. Okay, think about that. You don't have people like Anissa or people that do the kind of things that Anissa does. So I think it is weird to think about all of them, and like the joke you go to is, I mean, it's kind of like how stereotypical jokes about races and stuff are all bad. It can be funny, I guess, whatever, but the stereotype is bad. Same thing goes here. To say that it's just a dirty hole is always the joke. Is like, well, that's not really true. It's a bad stereotype.
Removed via Anissa.
A lot of it's not explicitly said, but when you listen to the jokes, it's like, oh, that's actually just your opinion phrased in a comedic way.
There was some type of nerd fight last year, and Chris Raygun and all these people, it's like some big ethot worshiping party at these things, and I don't get it. I don't get what all this shit is all about, but everybody's there to worship ethos or fucking ethot or like touching ethot's titty or pussy. It's always that, and it's just like,
hell yeah, dude. It sounds like, I mean, I don't know about any of you, but if I was a single man, which he's not, so good on him, actually, because we got Legendary Roster. Froggy also has a wife, so I wouldn't imagine he would be into that. So good on him, but if it was a single guy, I'd imagine you'd be into this kind of, Just saying.
Like, what happens is people get all excited about it. I think Chris Reagan was like, he probably thought he was going to go there and beat some fucking nerd up and he was going to win. Like, I don't know if they're giving, I think they give away like OnlyFans girls there.
Yeah, this is like an Andrew Tate kind of thing. He's got them in the basement. If you're into that kind of thing, if you participate in the event, we'll pull them up from the basement. We give away the OnlyFans girls.
At these events, I don't know what kind of sponsorships. Like, if you win certain fights, I think you get to own some of these girls.
You get to own some of these girls.
Awesome. I don't know how it works, but I think Chris was like he had plans to go beat up a nerd and however they get to like lease one of these girls, and so like
they get to lease one of these girls. So okay, it's like. Again, this all kind of boils down to what you find funny, what you don't, how it works for you, where the line is crossed for you, whatever. A lot of people would say that all this hate on sex work and all these stereotypical, they get to lease one of these girls, you get to own these girls, they give away OnlyFans girls, blah, blah, blah. It's like it's a bad thing to have. Some people laugh at this and take it as a joke. And some people don't. That's how it works, right?
He got there. Well, Ian was probably thinking because I think, man, I need to just stop all this probably.
No, Froggy, keep going. I think you should keep going.
Like,
I think the women of the world need to hear your opinions on these things.
I'm starting to sound some type of way. I mean, isn't it the incel experience to hate on sex worker like this so much? I mean, I feel like it is. I could be wrong, but it feels like the incel experience here when it's like all these people are like...
Talk more about how
hating
sex
on women for doing sex work.
That's a funny joke. It was super funny the third time that you referred to women as property. That was the funniest one. Because when you said lease, I was like...
Now, he would have made jokes like this 10 years ago, probably, I think. I think that this isn't too far from, like, the way Froggy Fresh was talking isn't too far from what Ian would have said, like, 10 years ago. And I think a lot of people would criticize him for that. But again, it just goes back to what I was saying, like, I'm saying 10 years ago he would have said that. Society has changed a lot. Jokes have changed. The mainstream, what mainstream people laugh at, what the majority of society laughs at changes. That all changes the vibe and the whole way comedy works. All these comedians are adapting around that. So it's like, yeah, now he thinks that jokes like that are shit. There's still a little bit of people that think jokes like that are funny, and that's fine, I guess. But the majority of people just don't get it and don't think it's funny anymore. And I think it's definitely a niche.
Like, yeah, I know what a lease is. Even if you didn't do any of the Sam Hyde stuff, why would we want you at our event? Like, if you're just going to blatantly...
Hash says 10 years ago, YouTubers were still doing blackface. I mean, yeah, right? I mean, yeah. The incel shade doesn't work here, Legendary Ross says. So, okay.
Disrespect sex workers and women and other fighters, saying that they're here to touch e-thoughts. Like, it is so disrespectful and...
See, I laugh, and it's funny because, like, it's absurd. And I guess if that's the laugh you're going for, and you're that kind of comedian, usually I just feel like when you're that kind of comedian and that's the laugh you're going for, like I'm laughing at your absurdity, you can kind of explain afterwards, like, that it's a joke, kind of, or like that you don't really think that, or you don't explicitly say it when you're a comedian, but you make an absurd joke like that, and then you kind of walk it down if you actually respect the kind of people that you're making a joke about, So you walk it down, and say, like, you know, that's the funny, absurdist take, but honestly, that we shouldn't feel that way about those people. That's why we laugh, because it's absurd. We don't think that way about those people for real.
Shitty. I don't want to share.
That's where Froggy and Sam maybe don't do that enough, is like, say, like, look, I mean, and obviously that breaks their humor. So you can argue all of that, but I think Sam does need a little dose of like, hey, by the way, like, I think he does it every once in a while where he'll step from behind the curtain and be like, hey, look, you know, I really do feel this way about this certain thing. I've seen him do it a few different times, but I think he just needs to be more explicit sometimes about the way he feels, because his fans also take that energy and roll with it.
Share the space with you. I don't want other people to be uncomfortable because you're there. Like, you don't get the vibe, all right? The vibe is sex workers and fighting, I guess. And you don't like the sex workers part. I don't think Froggy is doing Sam.
So there you go. I guess there's your intentions. The lines have been drawn. There's sex workers and there's fighting. So if you don't like that, then maybe you should go find a different event.
It's dirty work. By,
it doesn't sound bad to me.
I think it's just pretty clear that he holds similar opinions to Sam Hyde and similar opinions to Sam Hyde fans, which is like, you're just going to repeat the shit that your hero is saying.
You have to ditch Yoko Ono.
Drop Yoko Ono, bro. It's got to be over. It's got to be over.
And leave the girl. Ditch the girl.
I think Ian met the wrong person. I honestly think it's just like, I think sometimes you bond with the wrong person. It can take you to make the wrong decisions.
See, isn't that a weird bandwagon, though, to get on? Like, all these people saying the same thing. Like, ditch Anissa. Anissa's made you terrible, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, why even go there? Yeah, like, just say, like, you're terrible. Just say you're terrible. Avoid the Anissa thing altogether. You know? Your problems with Idubbbz. Just say he's terrible. You're terrible, dude. You've changed so much. Not Anissa did it.
Probably a succubus.
Ditch Anissa. She's a
like
succubus.
Sucking the life out of him.
Sad to see you didn't make the card again. When will Idubbbz break free from that succubus that is holding him back?
I always look at these guys, by the way, and think, okay, yeah, it is a joke, isn't it? Say what you want about how I look or me and Kevin's bald heads, but every time I look at these guys, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a joke. You're right. That's a joke. We're joking. We're joking.
Ian's masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
Anissa's concern text of hope everything's going okay was a way for her to try to manipulate the situation.
I think initially you can just buy that.
Yeah.
I'm sending this to Anissa's OnlyFans. It goes directly into charity.
Yeah.
Her anal bead package came out, and it was $100 to look at pictures of her with anal beads.
I think they give away like OnlyFans.
Hell yeah.
Like you get to own.
And again, these are all jokes about her OnlyFans, so fine. It's out there. You can make the joke. It's fine. I guess.
They get to like lease one of these girls.
So Ian really embarrassed himself. And so he didn't want Sam at his event because Ian doesn't want people who are bigger and more talented than him upstaging him. That's what it is.
Tyler is like repeating.
Now, he is the main event. So, like, there is a bit of vanity there. You got to admit, he's the main guy. He thought he's the attracting man. Okay, so a little bit of vanity there. He'll go on to say he lost both times, which is fair too. But
all of these narratives,
I feel like that's a fair
about how
point.
I've changed for the worst. The person responsible.
I feel like it's a fair point to say that he doesn't want anybody upstaging him, really. But it kind of happens anyways.
For my change in a bad way is Anissa. Anissa is a manipulative person. Oh yeah, that I'm like concerned about getting upstaged by Sam or people who are more talented than me, which is insane to me because I've put on this event twice, me as the main fight, and I've lost both times. That's pretty upstaged. As a side note, Sam Hyde has made it a habit to try to sound like a reasonable person by saying, if Ian and Anissa just asked, I'll stop harassing them.
Yeah, if Ian ever hit me up and was like, hey man, can you leave me alone? I would stop talking about him. Whatever. I don't care that much.
So this is an interesting point too, and I have to. We've been here for 2 hours and 8 minutes. I have to take a bathroom break, so I'm going to Hassan it at the end here and let a little bit of this play without me sitting in the seat. But Legendary Ross says, why do you think thirsting for e-girls has less incel energy than roasting them? So, I mean, I guess that's fair enough. Like, if you're a super simp, like, there's crazy energy both ways. I agree. You can go too far in roasting them, and it seems a little incel-y, and you can go too far for thirsting with them, and it seems a little incel-y. But, I mean, I guess that's the wrong word then, right? Incel, you're correct in that. Incel vibes isn't the right word. Maybe for one instance, one way or the other. But yeah, you're right. Incel isn't the right word. But I think there's something to criticize both ways. Yes, thirsting for e-girls to super simp levels is embarrassing. And roasting them constantly over and over again and making that point over and over again, I think is weird too. It's a little weird both ways, a little weird vibes. But here, I'll let this play just a tad, really quick. Poland's going to get mad at me, but this is my Hassan break.
If you ask me to stop, I'll stop.
Which on its face is already an insane thing to say. Of course, no one wants to be harassed.
If they let Froggy back on the card, I won't tweet at Ian or Anissa ever again. I'll shut up forever. How about that?
I get to bring back someone on the card who doesn't respect me, my wife, other fighters, and in return, I have the chance of not being harassed by Sam Hyde? Oh, man. How can I refuse that? Just so we're on the same page in case I have to make a future video, you heard what Sam Hyde said. If he's a respectable guy, he's not going to continue to harass me because he says, by his own admission, he doesn't care that much.
I don't care that much.
This is my request. I would like you to not harass me or my wife or anyone that we're friends with. Also, harassment encompasses all the little loopholes, all right? You can't just then refer to me as a goblin and be like, I didn't say his name. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about a goblin. That's not acceptable. Another thing I want to make clear is that the decision to kick Froggy from the card isn't just for me and Anissa's comfort.
Holy cow, dude. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever in my lifetime ever held in so much. What is a Hassan break? A Hassan break is when you run to the bathroom really quick and let a video play in your absence. And that is what I just did. So that's a Hassan break. That's me and Kevin's little inside joke because Kevin criticizes Hassan for doing that too much. Okay? He runs off way too much and lets videos roll. Now, that's the one time that I'll do it. Maybe I won't do it ever again. Maybe I will. I don't usually go this long on Thursdays, so bear with me here. But this is also... Doesn't this suck? This is such an embarrassing moment to have to be like, all right, so he said if I explicitly say it, he'll leave me alone. So here it is. I'm explicitly saying it. I don't want to fuck with you anymore. Please leave me alone. Please stop mentioning me. Please quit fucking with me. Blah, 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 blah. Fair enough. I wonder if Sam adheres to this, you know? I think, again, when I was talking about his style of comedy, it's this is the ultimate funny for him, right? Sam won in his eyes because this is Idubbbz being like, hey, I'm done. You know, I'm done. I don't want to fight with you anymore. I'm washing my hands of the situation. No more, no more. And then Sam gets to be like, see, you lost, bitch. You're my bitch now. You're an idiot, dumbass. You fucking dumbass. I can't believe that you would actually say that. It makes you look like such a little punk, little weakling, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he hasn't said any of this. Sam hasn't said this. And that was just kind of how I would think that he would say it. He hasn't said any of this. That's just what I think he would say. So I hope he proves me wrong and doesn't say anything. I guess if he's going to stick to his word, then that means that they just won't talk about it anymore. And I would like that. I would like a world. This is one of my final notes on the whole thing too, is I would love a world going forward where I could like Sam and like Ian and do both as much or as little as I want to and go forward rather than them have to be like opposing figures. You know what I mean? Because that's what I feel like it's devolved into. It's like you're either with one or you're with the other. And it's like, look, I can find them both funny at different times. I like that. I hate, it's the same thing with politics and shit. It's the same reason why I keep people like VW around, is because I hate getting in a hole where it's just like one vibe all the time. It's just one thing reiterated all the time. It's like, I'd like to consume Idubbbz. I might lean towards Idubbbz content because I honestly find that a little funnier and I vibe with it a little more. But I would like a world where I could consume both, and it's not like if I post a video about Idubbbz, it's not going to be everybody like, oh, well, fucking Idubbbz is so lame, and vice versa. If I post a video about Sam Hyde, it's not going to be like, he's a fucking crazy Nazi. It's like, let's try to move forward. Maybe they won't beef anymore, and maybe we can consume both of them and all be chill vibes. How about that?
There are a lot of people who don't want anything to do with Sam Hyde who are fighting on our card. There are a lot of people who are our fans who want nothing to do with Sam Hyde. So we're trying to protect them. We're trying to protect the environment that we're in, and we want it to be comfortable.
There's that too, is like, I think Sam's biggest thing, his biggest like adversity in terms of breaking into like a bigger audience is that he has, because he acts so crazy, his craziness energy, and people I think kind of have a perception of him from the era where he was bitching about getting canceled, from voting for Trump, and he donated a bunch of money to certain politicians that make people view him a certain way, and blah, blah, blah. Plus that with the energy of his content, yada, yada, people have him pigeoned into a hole. Is that the right saying? Pigeonholed? They have him in the corner, a specific way. You know what I mean? In their mind. So he has to like, I don't know. He'll forever be the face of the school shooter or whatever. I guess that'll never go away, so he can't really live that down.
Comfortable for everyone. I truly believe if we had Froggy participate through the rest of the event, it would have made the event worse, like noticeably worse, because we are all trying to work together to make the show as good as possible. And I think if Froggy doesn't fuck with what we got going on, he was going to make it difficult. One way or another, it was going to be difficult. In closing,
I think they might have said it before, and I don't really know, but I guess it was Anissa that sought out Froggy to get him involved because she was a fan. Because it doesn't seem like they're fans now, that's for sure.
I want to say that creator...
It's like you'd think you would have known, I guess, that he didn't vibe with you, but I guess you didn't. You liked him in a certain way. I don't know. That's another thing that I don't get about some of the shit. It's like, I was never a big Froggy Fresh fan, or Krispy Kreme or whatever he was before, so you can tell me in chat if it's any different, but like I'm just not familiar with Froggy's content. Would Ian have any reason to believe from Froggy's content that he wouldn't vibe with them? Because you'd think that if he truly doesn't vibe with them, that you could probably tell from the style of shit that he does.
Clash is probably the single best thing that I've ever done in my life. It has, brought so much joy to me and Anissa. It has brought the most awesome people that I've ever met. It's brought them into my life, and I'm super grateful. And I want to keep doing
blah, blah, blah. This is like a sob story, and he keeps talking about what he wants to do and yada, yada here. I'm wondering if there's anything left for us to even... Let's just keep watching, I guess.
Doing it, and
Finish
this event means
Finish it
so
out
much
strong.
to me.
Let's get through it all, baby.
And I'm going to protect it.
Full video
and I'm gonna
commentary.
protect the fighters and the people involved in the event. And, I'm not... When it comes to people wanting to fuck around and mess with the vibes, I'm not going to tolerate it. You're going to get kicked from the card if you're being a piece of shit, and if you're not communicating and if you're not cooperating. And I want nothing new with Sam Hyde as well. So Fuck that guy. And thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. I paid money a month.
We'll let this last bit play too.
On the floor seats, and I see like some shenanigans going down. I take a photo of it. It's just people holding up a sign. It said Froggy did nothing wrong. Like
seemingly innocuous.
Yeah, right. I go to this like after event, and Anissa comes up to me. She comes up and says, that tweet was really not cool, and I just apologized. I felt kind of like a bitch. I was like, why the fuck did I apologize?
Masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
So I don't even know who that is. I think that's that Brandon Buckingham guy, right? That was doing the interview. I don't know who the other guy was. But that's pretty funny. I don't know. All in all, I mean, look. What does Danny have to say about the whole thing? Let's just say this. It seems like it's been years since Sam was like a super politically charged like guy, at least reflecting in his content, at least from what I've seen. You know, I guess I could be wrong about all this, but my interpretation of the guy, he doesn't come off as like a super politically charged guy, so I won't judge him on his political views if he doesn't like, you know, express that in his content a lot, until it comes to like donating to Nazis or something. Like, you can say he did or did not do that at this point. Okay, sure. I guess the guy in question is a questionable Nazi, whether he is or not, or whether that's just the word that everybody likes to use, Nazi. I would say going forward that if I ever see him or hear about him supporting Nazis or shit like that, I mean, you already know my take on Nazis. If he ever does do anything like that and I catch wind of it and it's a for sure thing, it's a thing that he did, support Nazis, fuck him. As of right now, I mean, I guess it's an arguable thing. He just acts really crazy, and then that's the kind of also the talking point and the rumor that goes around about him. So fair enough. I want to see Sam do something funny that I can enjoy going forward that doesn't, I mean, honestly, and I've said it, you know, he's got to like pump the brakes on so much of the explicitly offensive thing for me to really be into it. But, you know, that's kind of what I was talking about, like appealing to a mainstream audience. I mean, if he wants to maybe not appeal to a mainstream, but break into a bigger audience, which he's got a pretty big one to start with, honestly. So what am I saying? But I just think that he's not going to get much bigger if he keeps calling people pedophiles and shit like he did Dad and stuff like that. I mean, only certain people are going to like that shit. So, yeah, going forward, Sam Hyde, I'm not going to throw him in the hole and burn him with like a Steven Crowder or whatever. I've never heard about him beating his wife or explicitly doing any crazy ass shit yet. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt going forward. I'd like to see his shit. Idubbbz, on the same hand, it's like, if everything is going to be sissy boy cuck shit, then I probably won't be into it. Yeah, it will drag out and, you know, I won't be into him anymore. He's yet to get to that point for me yet. I've always found his little documentaries interesting or whatever and blah, blah, blah. I watch them when they come out. His Cheez-It review or whatever is like as interesting to me as watching Fish Tank every day live. You know what I mean? It's like I could take it or leave it. I'm not really interested in watching that kind of content, whatever. So it's like Idubbbz and Sam both are going to make shit that I'm not necessarily into all the time. But I don't think either of them are terribly despicable human beings either way. Now, having said that, let's look at what some of other people's responses are to all this. I thought that Death Crips had a funny tweet here. Let's look at this.
Explicitly said, but when you listen to the jokes, it's like, oh, that's actually just your opinion phrased in a comedic
There I am, Gary, there
There was
I
some type
am.
of
Nerd fight last year.
A lot of it's not.
So there's a SpongeBob meme. He was up in the top left corner, like I pointed out while we were watching. Death Crips. It was on his podcast or something. I don't know, but I thought that was funny. Let's see. Sam Hyde had a thought. Vault Wanderer said, Sam used to be mainstream. MDE was on Comedy Central. I mean, yeah, I guess that's why it's not anymore, right? Sam doesn't support them, laughed my ass off. That's something angry lefties say against him without proof. After Fish Tank, Sam could easily have his own event with people too spicy for Ian's event. And I think all that's right, V-Dub. I think Sam can always do his own thing. And I think there is a little bit of that. Angry lefties say against him without proof. The Nazi thing, but I won't be the angry lefty that says that against him without proof, but I'm not sure what the truth is there. Whether there's a specific guy in question that he donated to, and I don't know whether he registers as a Nazi or not. I have no idea. Or the guy's background or anything. I just know that that's the story, obviously. But yeah, he was on Comedy Central and Adult Swim or whatever. Yeah, he was on Adult Swim, not on Comedy Central, I guess. VW lying about that in chat. Typical righty, lying all the time about everything. Just kidding. Yeah, there was a point in time where he probably was mainstream, and then I guess it didn't work for him, right? That's why he got booted. That's why I got kicked to the curb, because I voted for Trump, and they got mad at me. Speaking of him, this is not a troll joke or a troll. Come train here, and you get an N-word pass, a guaranteed win, and no one will ever need to know. Dead serious. So he also left the same comment. Come train with me. Do it in secret for free. I don't need clout or money. I will stake my career on it and my reputation on you getting a win. Okay, so he's being funny, and I think this is funny. I like this. This is funny. Because obviously he wouldn't do that. But see, I can enjoy some Sam Hyde humor. That's funny. An N-word pass. Yeah. Here, I have to obligatory
Black people based.
There you go. For the N-word pass. A guaranteed win, and no one will ever need to know. That would be the cool timeline, right? It's like I think Ian said that he, Ball Wanderer says mistakes don't equal lies. All right, true that. I'll give you that. Wouldn't it be the ultimate redemption, the ultimate, arc? He's not fighting this coming year, Ian said. He's going to take a year off. Wouldn't it be the ultimate thing to come around year 4 and he trained with Sam, or they come to terms with their shit, whatever? It's just I don't get those vibes from Sam that he's willing to build bridges like that. The same thing in the documentary that he did and the 2 videos that they made on each other, Ian and Sam. It's I don't know if he's interested in building a bridge there, being friendly. But it would be cool if and hype for the event if year 4 they came back around and they were friendly. They got back into it together, and they were you see Ian sparring with Sam Hyde or something, or him and Harley are there at his gym fucking boxing with people or whatever. That would be cool. We all love to see happy endings like that. That would be sweet. Let's see. I forget what Harley had to say. He did have some shit to say. VW says Sam versus Harley would be good. I would love to see that. That'd be a nuts fucking fight. Harley had some things to say about the text messages that were in the video and the exchange between them. And some people say that Ian looks like a baby because of the text messages, some of that shit we read. Some people say that he's being mature or whatever. Harley took that stance that he was, being proactive and professional, transparent, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Everybody's going to have their perception on the way you present that kind of shit, Let's see. I put Tommy C probably yelled when he wrote this. So we've got... The best evidence is in for Idubbbz having totally fell off. And it doesn't matter if he doesn't care or only cares about the truth coming out. Ian is no longer a trusted content creator, and it matters little if Ian cares or not. And then he circles down here. The like ratio, it's 35 downvotes to 32K upvotes. Interesting there. Yeah, I imagine Tommy C yelling that tweet when he wrote it. But, I mean, it's all something to be said. I mean, yeah, it fell off. You all put these people on such a big pedestal when you say fell off. I mean, he's going to have like considerably less viewers probably going forward. Always. He's getting older, less relevant. Nobody gives a fuck. Younger people are a lot of numbers when it comes to YouTube. So it's like younger people definitely don't give a fuck. Yeah, he's fell off. He's definitely fell off. I mean, from the days where, like, I can remember a point in time where I would wait for a fucking Idubbbz video. Like, oh, hell yeah, dude. You know, so I don't think that is the same vibe anymore. I'm also older and different, too. But I definitely don't feel that same energy for him that I might have once before. That is true. Maybe he's fell off. Maybe Tommy C's correct. Did Tommy C fall off? I wonder. I wonder if Tommy C gets as much views as he used to. I wonder if Tommy C's ever fell off. It's interesting. I don't know. I really don't. Let's see. Ryan Beard says, to the people who are anti-Idubbbz, at what point would you think it's reasonable to set up a boundary that you don't want to associate with the friends of someone who repeatedly insults you and your wife? Do you think people should even have these types of boundaries? So I read that pretty fast. Let's break it down a little bit. If you were anti-Idubbbz, at what point would you think it's reasonable to set up a boundary? Okay. So he's basically asking, like, look, is it reasonable should Ian have just put explicitly in the contract from the get-go that no Sam Hyde? Is that the answer? Because that is kind of fun. It's just funny to think about that he has to explicitly put somebody's name in there and be like, not these motherfuckers. But then again, I mean, I guess that's how it works when it comes to contracts and shit. You better express it all in the contract. Ricky Berwick might be the most correct out of everyone. LOL, Idubbbz should have never made that video. He should have just taken his money and gone offline for a few years. I mean, honestly, I think that's always the take. I do constantly think about some of these people. H3 being somebody like that. Idubbbz even at this point. I mean, I guess he's spent a lot of his money on this creator class shit, so it's hard for him to just step away. But Joe Rogan maybe even. So much love for the game, because once I made enough money, I'd be like, do I really even need to do this anymore? I'll just scratch my ass. I feel like that about any situation, though. If I struck the lottery, I'd do the same thing. If I made a bunch in my professional career, I would feel the same way. It's like once I hit a certain amount of money made, it's like, fuck it, I don't need to do anything else anymore. Oh. Ultimately, I think Ian had the right to kick Froggy, of course, but he also could have communicated his boundaries better. So yeah, definitely think so. BW, you are correct. You need to come out on the other side of this, kind of knowing better going forward. Hopefully nothing like this Froggy Fresh thing happens again. I do think that that's a good place to, like, you know, end this. Some of the final comments there is like, you live and you learn. Okay. You know, going forward, Ian knows better than to deal with some of these certain people. He knows to make his boundaries explicit when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, I guess when we're talking boxers, all these people are boxers. They're boxing for a boxing event. They're training with boxers, blah, blah, blah. Sam Hyde is a boxer and trains people and boxes in his own right or whatever. So, having said that, if you want the boxers in your boxing event not to associate with some gyms or other boxers, it probably is it probably behooves you. It's probably a good point to make that explicit. Yeah, I don't want you in this gym with these people, in that gym, blah, blah, blah. If that has some sort of conflict of interest with your shit, yeah, it's a good thing going forward to know. Def Noodles based. I feel like I was being funny here. Idubbbz made it very clear to Froggy that he was crossing a boundary that could jeopardize his position in the event. Of course. That being said, while I initially had sympathy for Froggy because I didn't think of collabing with Sam Hyde. That being said, while I initially had sympathy for Froggy because I didn't think that collaborating with Sam Hyde was a big deal, after getting the full context of what happened behind the scenes between Froggy and Ian, as well, what the fuck is this run-on sentence? As well as Sam's treatment of Anissa, I think it's safe to say most people in the loving relationship would do the same to protect their partner. All right, we finally got to the point. You could read the last 2 lines and it'd get to the point. What the fuck, Dubs? Def, I mean. What the fuck, Def? You make me read your fucking super convoluted, long-winded fucking run-on sentence. Yeah, I think most people in a loving relationship would protect their partner. Sympathy for Froggy Fresh because I didn't think collabing with Sam Hyde was a big deal. I mean, again, Def Noodles is talking a bunch of shit that we've already kind of went over. You know what I think about all that. I do like to include their responses here. Froggy, though. Okay, this is the last one we'll look at, and then I'll get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
I saw your video.
Uh-oh.
You put my face on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Uh-oh.
You said I was a meanie. You said I don't respect sex workers. I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever seen Ricky Martin in Living La Vida Loca?
Dun, dun, da, 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 da.
Have you ever seen that man move? That man is a sex worker.
Yeah, he is.
And I respect that man.
And I'd pay for it.
So you explain that.
You explain that. So you explain that. Why don't you explain that? No, I think this is funny. I mean, this is good. This is good. I think this is a great way for Froggy to end this whole situation and move on from it. And Ian can fucking end on his video that everybody hates and judges him for. This is a good way for Froggy to end it and move on and look all right in the situation, I guess. Because he made me laugh in the end. So good for him. I mean, Froggy supports sex workers. Ricky Martin, living the vida loca. Ricky Martin is not a sex worker, is he? Carla says. Yeah, I don't think that Ricky Martin is actually a sex worker. He's just kind of saying, with moves like that, with moves like that, you know, not like me. With moves like that, he might as well be a sex worker because I'm coming in my pants every time I see him. You know what I mean?
Bruh.
Anyways, I appreciate you all sitting through God knows how long of Idubbbz responding to the controversy, you know. Like I said, ultimately, I'm an Idubbbz fan. I want to be a Sam Hyde fan. And hopefully going forward, they can, you know. Creator Clash 4, Idubbbz trained by fucking Sam Hyde himself. Maybe get a little power behind those punches. Maybe then he can headline an event. Maybe he can even get Harley in the ring with Sam himself. Can you train somebody and participate? Probably. Probably not a big deal. Hash says, I don't care about any of this. Yeah, right? That's the way it goes, baby. When it comes to internet online bullshit, some you care about and some you don't. And when it comes to Oli London and Creator Clash 2, we've talked about Creator Clash 2
You couldn't say shit if you had a mouthful.
We've talked about Creator Clash 2 a lot, and we've talked about Oli London, and I've shit talked a lot about Oli London. So I felt compelled to bring both of them back into the show today and talk about them. Maybe I'll show a little bit of this stuff if anything else funny happens or comes out between now and Sunday. Maybe I'll show some to Kev. Probably not. We probably got a lot of other stuff to look at, but you know how it goes. Whatever happens, whatever news fucking perks my interest, whatever news gets me up in the morning, whatever news gets me
wet ass P word.
You know what I mean. Anyways, I will catch all of y'all next time. See you Sunday. Okay? We'll be back Sunday, me and Kev, as per usual. Hopefully we keep the Tuesday thing up. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a long one. Longer than usual, ever, of anything. Too long. I'm going too long anymore. See ya.